believes ESPN's Kendrick Perkins.
If they didn't want Steve Nash in the offseason, what the hell makes you think they wanted him at the start of the season? And not saying that they were playing to get him fired, but if a coach is not demanding the locker room and you don't have your two superstars' attention that need to, where you can hold them accountable, then it's not going to work.
ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports the Nets are progressing on the hiring of suspended Celtics coach Ime Udoka to be the next head coach in Brooklyn. Assistant Jock Vaughn is the Nets' acting head coach. On this NFL trade deadline day, the Dolphins acquired linebacker Bradley Chubb from the Broncos for a package that includes the 2023 first-round pick Miami got from San Francisco. Vikings acquired tight end TJ Hawkinson from the Lions for a 2023 second-rounder and 2024 third-rounder.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Man, we got a lot to do. The NFL trade deadline expiring as we speak, so we'll run through some of the big news of the day. Certainly appears as though the Saints have decided to stand pat. Wise decision. But a lot that we're going to get to. Will Harris next hour. We'll preview Game 3 of the World Series. Sean Salisbury will be here in hour number 3. And I do want to... in about 15 minutes, I want to talk about LSU and their slow starts. This is one of those weeks when LSU plays Bama where, this isn't I'm just telling you this for context, nothing else, where I'll probably do 30 interviews on other media outlets this week. It's just when it's LSU Bama and it matters, everybody is interested in the game, so you do a lot of reciprocal radio over the years, and then everybody calls in this 1 week. Like in a normal week, maybe I'll do 5. This week, it's going to be 30. But every single one that I've already done, this question about the slow starts keeps coming up, and understandably so. And I kind of, I wanted to have a good answer for it, and I wanted to talk about it. And so I did some digging on LSU's starts so far this year, and I want to get into that in about 12 minutes. So in the next segment, we'll get to that. So Brian Kelly talked about it yesterday as well on Monday when he was meeting with reporters and some of the things they're doing at practice. So my big takeaway to tease it is it's not as bad as we think it is. I mean, look, I get it. We all see LSU's been down, but it's not as bad as we think it is. I'm going to get to that again coming up here in about 12 minutes. Glad you're with us here on this Tuesday edition of AFR. So NFL trade deadline has come and gone. A lot of you certainly have been following the trade tracker throughout the course of the day today. And there have been a lot of really significant developments today. Maybe none bigger than Bradley Chubb being traded. The Lions tight end, they've traded to the Vikings. Hawkinson. So, I mean, there are some significant developments today. Chase Claypool being traded to the Bears. Can you imagine Aaron Rodgers looking at his division rival trading for Chase Claypool, and he can get no help whatsoever there in Green Bay? So there are some significant developments today. The Dolphins adding Bradley Chubb is massively significant. They're making a run. You could tell teams this year that feel like they're in the mix that decide, hey, we're going all in. We're making a push to win now. And the Saints decided to stand pat. And that's not necessarily because that's the Saints' MO. We know that's not the Saints' MO. Especially like on draft day and around times like this, the Saints want to be aggressive. If there's a way to make their team better, they do it. But the Saints' inaction today at the trade deadline illustrates what we've talked about for a couple of weeks here now, which is the Saints are stuck. They don't have valuable assets that people with contracts for which people will trade. We talked about it. I went through it all last week. Thomas, Kamara, Ramczyk, all of them. Like all of the players, Lattimore, all of the players that may have trade value that teams would want have accompanying contracts that are terrible for the team taking them on and would be terrible for the Saints because of the way they're structured. So the Saints really had no path of action today, and that's okay. I would rather, honestly, the Saints not do something completely careless today because it would only continue to dig this hole deeper, especially when a team is sitting here at 3-5 and is a long shot, even considering the Falcons are a game ahead of you, and you're just a game back in the division, you're still a long shot to think you're going to be able to dig out of this hole with all of your shortcomings. You have a long way to go. But here's what I'll say. And something happened today that I think is a cautionary tale for New Orleans. You probably saw this today. But the Indianapolis Colts earlier today relieved offensive coordinator Marcus Brady of his duties. They fired Marcus Brady as offensive coordinator. And I don't know if this is something that caught a lot of people's attention around here, and understandably why it wouldn't. The Colts aren't very good. They're an AFC team, and they fired their offensive coordinator. Frank Reich is the head coach, and he calls all of the plays. But look, when you're floundering, you have to do something, and so the Colts fired their OC, right? Somebody's got to be the fall guy. That in and of itself isn't really the headline to me. It's what this describes. Because keep in mind, Andrew Luck left the Colts in a bit of a lurch, right? In August of 2019, he abruptly retired from football after 7 seasons. He played 6 of them, missed 1 season due to injury. He came back, was the NFL comeback player. He missed 2017, came back in 18, was the NFL comeback player of the year, and then retired before the 2019 season. And they were 4-12 in 2019, went the first year without Andrew Luck. And then what we've seen Indianapolis do is go through a revolving door of veterans. They went and got Phillip Rivers, and they made the playoffs. They were 11-5, made the playoffs, lost in the wild card round. And then they went and got Carson Wentz. That didn't work. And now this year, they tried Matt Ryan, and he's been benched for Sam Ehlinger. And now you fired your OC. When you look at what Indianapolis has done since Andrew Luck's retirement, they went 7-9, 11-5, and 9-8. Forgive me, the 4-12 year was the year that Luck was injured. Forgive me. That was the year that he missed. But his first year out in 2019, they went 7-9. Then they went 11-5, lost in the wild card round, then 9-8 a year ago. And now they are where they are. And I guess I look at New Orleans and I go, man, they're following a pretty similar path, aren't they? Drew Brees retired. You went and signed Jameis Winston. You're thinking, let's see if we can find Brees 2.0. The young veteran quarterback who in this system will flourish like Drew Brees did. I get it. I was for it with Jameis Winston. I'm not completely burying the idea of Winston, although a lot of you probably are, and it looks like the Saints are too. But you tried. Could Taysom Hill be that quarterback? Now you bring in Andy Dalton this year as sort of that veteran presence as well. You tried. You've tried to go that route and find the next Brees. And the question this offseason is, are you going to continue traveling down that path? And the Colts are a cautionary tale of where that path leads. It leads nowhere. It just delays the inevitable. Because if you look at the free agents that you might be able to lure, those young veterans, I mean, you're talking about the likes of Sam Darnold and maybe Baker Mayfield, Carson Wentz, Jacoby Brissett. I mean, this is the market that you would be in. I mean, a best case scenario would be Jimmy Garoppolo, wouldn't it? So ultimately, though, that's not going to lead you to where you want to be. Those are competent NFL players that are likely backups that could start in a pinch for you, but they're never going to be championship quarterbacks. That's the pool you'd be fishing in. That's the purgatory that the Colts are in right now, because they didn't make the decision to move on from their past and say, look, let's start preparing for the next 10 years instead of right now. And I get why the Saints have been in perpetual win now mode, because they had a quarterback that they felt could win at any point with Drew Brees. And they tried to see if they could keep doing that. But it's clear they can't. And yes, there are teams that have drafted quarterbacks high and have busted. The Chicago Bears moved up and drafted Mitchell Trubisky 3rd overall. He's now a backup in Pittsburgh. Actually, is he still in Pittsburgh? Yeah, he's in Pittsburgh. Justin Fields, they're trying their hand there now. The Jets, Sam Darnold, he's now in Carolina and hurt. They got Zach Wilson. Who knows how that's going to go? They got a good record right now, but boy, he looked bad this weekend against New England. There's a lot of people asking questions about him right now. Listen, the only way you're ever going to draft, there's one way that you ever have the opportunity to draft Joe Burrow. One. It's if you are bad enough to have the first pick in a year where there's a transcendent quarterback coming out of the draft. If you're the Jags when Trevor Lawrence is number 1. If you're the Bengals when Joe Burrow is coming out. If you were the Colts in 1998 when you drafted Peyton Manning. I mean, that's the possibility, to draft that guy. The can't miss, no doubter. And I don't know that the Saints get to that point. So you got to trust your evaluation. And there's going to be an opportunity. There's going to be an opportunity in this draft where you have a second-round pick, and it's probably going to be a high second-round pick, to take a quarterback where you have to trust your evaluation to say, can that quarterback be our franchise? The Eagles have done it with Jalen Hurts, and it's pretty incredible what they've done. I didn't believe Jalen Hurts would be a great starting quarterback in the NFL. He's proven that he is. The Cowboys found that in Dak Prescott in round 4. Kirk Cousins was a 4th rounder. I'm not saying this is common. Russell Wilson was a 3rd rounder. I'm not saying it's common, but it's been done. But you have to be able to trust your evaluation, find that guy, and draft your franchise this year, because it's the only way the Saints move on from the Brees era. Take the Indianapolis Colts as a cautionary tale. You cannot keep going down this path of trying to find that veteran quarterback. Oh, but we can make it work. It's the girl that dates the bad guy. Oh, I can make him change. He'll change for me. I'll be the one to make him settle down. No, you won't. He's going to break your heart. It's the same thing with all these quarterbacks. You're not going to make any of these guys franchise quarterbacks. So you got to go draft them. That's your cautionary tale, Indianapolis. Don't be the Colts, because they're struggling right now on that same path that you're on right now. All right. I'm going to be really interested, fascinated, guys, as we get closer to the draft this year, to see what quarterbacks might be sitting there for New Orleans to take, because they have to. They absolutely have to take a quarterback with their very first pick in this year's draft. And that's going to be in round 2, but it's probably going to be an early round 2 selection, maybe a top 40 overall pick, top 45 overall pick. You got to find a quarterback there. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you hanging out. All right, let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about, normally I have Peter Burns right here. Peter is covering soccer for SEC Network, so he had a bump to tomorrow. So we'll talk to Peter tomorrow. I want to talk about LSU slow starts, which has been a major talking point so far this year. And there might be a little overreaction to it. I'll explain what I mean next. It's AFR.
AFR. It's a raving fan shout-out. Presented by Darren James & Associates, brokered by eXp Realty.
You know, November is the #1 home selling month in Baton Rouge. I've told you that now for several years, but it's true and it makes a lot of sense. If you want to be in that new home for the holidays, you want to be in the new home for the new year, man, call Darren James right now and start that process. I love telling you about Darren James. I love telling you about all the amazing success stories that Darren's had with thousands of thrilled clients throughout the years. And I'm certainly in that number as well. If you need to sell your home, you need Darren James. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. Have an impeccable, stress-free experience that gets results. Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I am Juliette, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis, but I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the NBA.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Oh, we do have the final tally for Magnolia Bluff Football Sunday after yesterday, because one of Otter's handicappers on Sunday did give you Cleveland plus the 3 and an outright winner last night. So the Ott father and his band of merry handicappers, merry men, merry handicappers, had a winning weekend. And actually, for the first time, at least since I've been tracking, they had disagreement where two handicappers took opposite sides of the same game. And your boy actually, just out of sheer luck, it was the Titans game, out of sheer luck, just bet the first one, and it happened to be the Titans who covered. So I was actually 2 games over 500 for the weekend, betting with the Ott Fathers folks. So we'll get Jimmy back on tonight. Huge night. We got Maction tonight. Who we got tonight, Muse? You're a big Maction guy, aren't you?
Yeah, Maction's a blast, man. The over is your friend in Maction. Tonight you have Kent State. They're facing off against forgot who it is. Ball State, and then Buffalo and Ohio.
We got 2 games tonight.
Yeah, 2. So
okay.
Ball State, Kent State at 6 on ESPNU, and then Buffalo, Ohio, 6:30 on the Deuce.
All right, so we'll see if Otter's got any Maction picks for us tonight. We'll also have Game 3 of the World Series, some NBA possibly as well. So we wrap up every show with Otter Lock. So Jimmy will give us some picks. Make sure you're here for that at the end of the show. Dude's been on fire. I mean, we're just out here trying to pay for your kids' college. That's all we're doing. It's our service to you. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. We have had so many conversations here about LSU's slow starts this year, and it's kind of undeniable, right? They got down to Florida State, had to have the big rally. They were down 13-0 to Mississippi State. They were down 17-0 at Auburn. Florida scored on the second play of the game. We know what happened against Tennessee, unfortunately. Even Ole Miss, I mean, boom, 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 5 plays right down the field and scored. LSU was down 17-3 in that one. So the slow starts have been a thing. And Brian Kelly and his staff obviously are aware of the slow starts and are working to try to fix that. So on Monday, Brian Kelly was asked, okay, so how do you fix it? What are you doing to fix the slow starts? And he actually gave some very tangible examples of things they're doing.
You know, we all look at things that I need to do in terms of preparation for our players. What I started doing about 3 weeks ago is I moved up some articulation or some contact, 11-on-11 contact from when it would be 45 minutes into practice.
Pause it. Your boy said articulation. Has there ever been an LSU coach who instead of saying contact used the word articulation in the history of LSU football? I don't think so.
I have no answer for that. Yeah, right. I mean, I can't think of one.
Can you scroll it back about 5 seconds and pick up the clip? Okay, thank you. We pick it up with articulation.
Well,
just play it, Muse. Just hit play.
Contact.
Thank you.
11-on-11 contact from when it would be 45 minutes into practice. I moved it up into the first 20 minutes of practice to kind of heighten that and get our guys ready immediately when they come out to practice that, hey, we need to get after it. We need to be ready right away to build that in. Now, that's only been a couple of weeks, so we're trying to build that in. You know, we're trying to look at some quizzes before, on Saturday morning and making sure that we're sharp mentally. So we're looking at all those things to make sure. And sometimes it's just you got to go make a play. Let's make that catch, let's make that play, and get off to a good start.
I respect so much his attention to detail and his desire to, nail down everything. But your boy's talking about articulation and game day quizzes. I mean, what is Mad Libs? Are you doing, crossword puzzles? What's the thing? What was the thing that was hot for a minute? The daily, the word?
Wordle?
Wordle. Is that what they're doing? I mean, what are
football
you doing?
Wordle.
Football Wordle to stay sharp? I mean, I'm not. Look, I get it. It's been a problem trying to fix it, so you're trying everything. I understand. A couple things. Number one, as far as the contact early in practice, so if you missed it, what he's saying is, look, we were basically not having contact periods in practice until 45 minutes into practice. So we're doing it now earlier in practice to make guys show up ready to go. I've covered LSU for, I think this is my 15th season. Les Miles started every practice after stretch with the Big Cat drill. There is no greater articulation, as it were, than the Big Cat drill. It's 2 dudes like bull in a ring just knocking each other over. LSU lost 5 straight under Les Miles, the last 5 straight under Les Miles, starting with the championship game through 20. I guess his last game that he coached against Bama was the 2014 game. He didn't coach the 2015 game. So I guess the last 4 straight, which was part of the 8-game losing streak. That didn't make a difference. I mean, as far as quizzes, are we talking about game day quizzes? I can understand trying to stay mentally sharp. But when I went and listened to it, can you play the end of that cut again? After he talked about the quizzes? Because what he basically said is sometimes just you just got to go make a play. Can you play that again, please?
We're looking at all those things to make sure. And sometimes it's just you got to go make a play. Let's make that catch. Let's make that play and get off to a good start.
Okay. So I told you that we might be overreacting a little bit to the slow starts. Here's what I mean. Do you remember how the Florida State game started? LSU got the ball. First play of the game, Jaden Daniels scrambled left side for 25 yards. He got hit late out of bounds. On the second offensive snap was when they threw the deep ball into the end zone to Kayshawn. That was contested. He didn't come down with it. But LSU did manage to end up with a 1st and goal at the 7. And on 2nd and goal from the 5, Garrett Dellinger snapped the ball 15 yards over Jaden Daniels' head, and LSU kicked a field goal. Like, you were moving the ball there. Florida State's first offensive possession, they missed a field goal. The rest of the first half for Florida State, after the missed field goal, was touchdown, fumble, downs. They ended their last possession was on downs. The problem for LSU is here was LSU's possessions to start the game after the field goal. LSU led 3-0. After the field goal, punt, missed field goal, end of half, punt, and then in the fourth quarter, touchdown, end the game. Your offense was slow to get going that day. If you look at the Mississippi State, I'm not going to talk about Southern or New Mexico, but look at Mississippi State. We focus so much on LSU being down 13-0 in that game, which they were. And Mississippi State scored on its opening possession. But after that opening possession touchdown by Mississippi State, here was the rest of the half. After the touchdown, they went downs, punt, touchdown, punt. The problem, this was LSU's offense in the first half. Punt, fumble, punt, touchdown, end of half. So you were down 13-0 before we scored at the end of the half to make it 13-7. So we focused so much on the 13-0 as if the defense was struggling so much. The problem was your offense didn't get going until the very end of the half and then carried it on into the second half. Let's look at Auburn. Auburn, we know LSU got down 17-0 on the road against Auburn. And Auburn hit the busted play, had the ball to start the game, hit the busted play touchdown, so they were up 7-0. But after Auburn got up 7-0, your defense held them to punt, scored another touchdown, field goal, and then they fumbled, you scoop and score, then they missed a field goal at the end of the half. Problem was not LSU's defense. Defense gave you an opportunity. Offense to start the Auburn game. Punt, fumble return for a touchdown, just like that. It's 17-14 at half. I think we focus so much. The Tennessee game was an absolute abomination. As we know, you just sort of crumple that one up and throw it away. They were a much better team that skunked you. Against Florida, you allowed a touchdown on the second play of the game. But what was the difference in the Florida game? Your first 6 possessions were touchdown. Your offense was rolling. That was the big difference. And then what happened against Ole Miss? The same thing. Your offense was churning. I know you were down 17-3, but you had an opportunity. You settled for a field goal. You had a turnover. I get it. Like, there were some of those things that didn't go your way, but your defense settled in, and your offense was churning from the beginning, and ultimately you scored 45 in that game. So it was less. I guess my point is we focus so much on the slow starts for LSU, but really, defensively, it's really just been mostly the singular opening possession of the game. And it's I use fighting analogies a lot, and I like fighting, and you know that I like combat sports, but it's so true. You go in with a plan, and sometimes fighters are aggressive and want to set the tone, and sometimes you want to play defense and you want to see how you're going to be attacked, and then you counterpunch. LSU as a defense right now is a counterpuncher. They're going to wait for you to make the first move, and then they're going to adjust. And once they adjust, they're going to put you in a headlock, and you're not going to move for the next 45 minutes of the game. And we've seen that. That's basically what Matt House's defense does. They're going to let you throw the first punch, and then they're going to adjust. The key for LSU is offensively, the last couple of games, as we've seen the offense get better, the slow start the LSU offense has avoided the slow start. That was the problem early in the season. The defense has actually been pretty dang consistent all year. The problem, except the Tennessee game, the problem is the offense couldn't get out of its way until late in the first half and into the second half. But the last two games against Florida on the road and home against Ole Miss, we've seen the offense churn and burn from jump. That's the key. That's the key Saturday. Like, as much as we've talked about the slow starts, my opinion, when you look at it as you dig deeper, the defense was getting stops. It was giving the offense opportunities. You would have never been down that against Mississippi State, against Auburn. If your offense had gotten going earlier against Florida State, you would have had a lead at halftime. It was a 7-3 game at half. The biggest reason to believe LSU will get started faster is because they've done it the last 2 weeks. The last two games, I should say. The offense has found its rhythm, its pacing. The offensive line has been solidified. Jaden Daniels is more comfortable throwing the football. They found yards on the ground in the run game, and they've just been a much more explosive, competent offense. So there's no reason to believe that wouldn't carry through this weekend. Look, Bama may take an early lead. I kind of expect them to take an early lead because that's how LSU is defensively. If Bama gets the ball to start the game, I expect they'll go down and get points. But after that, I expect LSU is going to get stops and give the offense an opportunity to get rolling because we've seen that every game as well. Maybe just a little bit of clarity behind the air quotes slow start, which may not be as bad as we think. Maybe just how LSU plays defensively, and the key was getting the offense to catch up so it didn't put the defensive struggles in that first possession under such a magnifying glass because defense has been really good in the first half of most ball games. It's just magnified because of that first possession that they allowed State to score and Auburn to score and Florida to score and Ole Miss to score. Yeah, I mean, all those teams scored on their first possession, but then LSU defensively put the clamps down. Can the offense get rolling? That's the key, and that's what we have seen the last two games. All right, it's after further review. We'll certainly be watching that closely. You know, it'll be very tough if LSU's offense isn't rolling and you do find yourself down 14-17, whatever it may be, to Alabama because of how explosive Bryce Young can be. But got a feeling LSU offensively is going to get rolling early in that game and make it a four-quarter fight. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey and Lafayette, online at theantiagingclinics.com. That's theantiagingclinics.com. I remember coming up a week from Thursday, y'all. A week from Thursday is Christmas in November. It's one day only. It's the biggest sales of the year, the best specials of the year, one day only. It's really a great party, too. They've got open bar, beer, wine, champagne, catered food, live music. It's really a great time. You meet the doctors, the whole staff. It's all day. They take a little break in the middle of the day for lunch, but you can go in the morning or in the evening. I usually get there after the show, so would love to see many of you there at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana for Christmas in November, 1 week from Thursday at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. All right, it's after further review. Let's see. Will Harris in about 27 minutes. We'll preview Game 3 of the World Series. We'll chat with Lee. We'll talk Nick Saban. I mean, Lee covered Nick Saban when he was here in Baton Rouge, so we'll talk a little LSU-Bama history with Lee in the next hour. Sean Salisbury in hour number 3. Let me break. We'll come back. We'll do around the SEC and a quick thought on the CFP rankings, the first college football playoff rankings, which will be out tonight. And also, I'll get to, before this hour is over, a realistic path for LSU to the Orange Bowl. I'll spell it out what has to happen for LSU to get to the Orange Bowl because it's more realistic than you think. We'll talk about it coming up. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man, we're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Yesterday had the fam over for trick-or-treat on Halloween. All the extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, all that sort of stuff. So it was great to have everybody over to the house for trick-or-treat. And, man, everything outside looked awesome. Yeah, I told you Erica went a couple of weeks ago over to Clegg. She picked out all the fall flowers. So we got, in the patio pots by our fire pit outside, all right by the pool, all the fall decor. It looks so good. It's just that time of year. I know it's still in the 70s, but the humidity's down, so it feels a little cooler. We lit a fire last night. Just felt like fall, and it was awesome. So get by Clegg's Nursery. I also want to remind you, while they got a great selection of fall flowers, trees, shrubs, November is the best month to plant trees and shrubs. So if you're thinking about doing that, they've got a great selection right now at Clegg's Nursery. If it's privacy shrubs or trees for the backyard, whatever it may be. Also, deer hunters, mobucks, buckbusters, deer corn, rice bran, they got all of it. So if you're that deer hunter and you need those plots, they got you at Clegg's Nursery.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I will go around the SEC here in just a quick second. Also some thoughts on the college football playoff rankings, which will debut tonight. Big shout out Baton Rouge Community College basketball. Their home opener is tonight. My buddy Brock Cantro, who's the AD over at BRCC. They built a beautiful gym over there, and they tip off the season tonight. The women's game's at 5:30. The men's game is at 7:30. If you're a family looking for affordable entertainment, great option. The gym is beautiful over at BRCC. I don't think many people realize what they've built at that campus right there in the middle of Baton Rouge. But check it out. Tonight is also Sonic night. So the first 500 fans at the basketball game tonight are going to receive Sonic gift cards. So if nothing else, man, go so you get a Sonic gift card and watch some basketball. Again, BRCC tonight against Bishop State. As I understand it, is out of the state of Alabama. So good luck to the BRCC Bears. Their home opener tonight against Bishop State. All right, it's after further review. We will get to some thoughts on the college football playoff rankings just a quick second. Right now, let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Georgia Bulldogs.
And disappointing news for the nation's best defense. Outside linebacker Nolan Smith, the leading pass rusher for the Bulldogs, He's going to miss the rest of the season with a torn right pec. Smith will have surgery on Thursday in Athens. He is expected to make a full recovery. Senior was hurt in the first half of the Florida game last Saturday. And he is considered a potential first-round selection for this spring's draft. We'll see if that holds with this injury. Georgia's defense, number 2 in the country in scoring, at just 10.5 points a game.
The Auburn Tigers.
A 6th player has decided to leave the team and transfer at the end of the season. Xavion Capers, a 4-star wide receiver in his 3rd year at Auburn, announced he plans to enter the transfer portal. Capers was the number 132 overall player in the country in 2020, the 24th best receiver in the nation. Played in 23 games during his career there at Auburn. He's the 16th former 4-star prospect to leave the last 3 years and the 3rd receiver to leave in the last week.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Junior running back Dominique Johnson will miss the remainder of the season with a torn ACL. It was a non-contact injury during practice last week, according to Sam Pittman. Same knee that he had surgery on at the end of last year and was recovering from the early portion of this year. He didn't play actually until week 4, but now Dominique Johnson done for the year. He will preserve a red shirt for the season. Last year, he was one of the breakout performers on offense for the Hogs.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Wide receiver Corey Rucker announced his season is over. He'll be out with a foot injury. Rucker could use this season as a red shirt. He transferred to South Carolina from Arkansas State following the 2021 season after playing 2 years for the Red Wolves.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
I couldn't get the paper. And Clark Lee, head coach of the soon-to-be best program in college football, said on his weekly radio show that quarterback A.J. Swan could be ready for Saturday's game against South Carolina. Swan expected to practice today, but Lee would not tip his hand. Reports are that Swan has suffered a concussion, although Lee has not confirmed that. That was against the Missouri in the Missouri game on October the 22nd. In his stead, Mike Wright, who started the season as the starting quarterback, replaced the freshman Swan, but Swan could be good to go this weekend. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy, Trey Beal, and our friends, sorry, Paulie, at Gulf Coast Office Products. I didn't really throw it at you. I threw it, it hit the ceiling and landed right on your console. My bad. Gulf Coast Office Products, GCOPnet.com. Official office equipment provider of the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, the ULL Raging Cajuns. As a matter of fact, Gulf Coast Office Products celebrating 20 years as the official office equipment provider of LSU Athletics. 20 years as an official partner of LSU Athletics. So proud of Trey Beal and all my friends over at Gulf Coast Office Products, a national leader among Saban dealers, but they will service all makes and models. Gulf Coast Office Products, GCOPnet.com. The first college football playoff rankings are going to come out tonight, and the world will melt, and I am just not going to watch it all. I want to remind you, and I feel like I do this every single year. I don't feel like I do this every single year. I do this every single year. I remind you the very first ever college football playoff rankings, the 2014 season, the first rankings that ever came out. Do you remember? There were 3 teams from the SEC West in those rankings in 2014. 3 from the West, and none of them were LSU or Alabama. Y'all, I'm telling you right now, what happens tonight don't matter a lick. 0. It's a made-for-TV show, and those people in that room are going to do whatever the hell they want to do anyway. So it doesn't matter what any of us think. It's all about creating conversation. That same year in 2014, I want to remind you, was the year when the Big 12 had their one true champion. Remember that? We all laughed at them because they ended up having a tie. And so they didn't have one true champion. TCU, going into the final weekend, was number 2 in the rankings. And they had a blowout win. But TCU had a loss that year to Baylor. So TCU and Baylor finished with the same record. Baylor had a head-to-head over TCU, so the committee could not justify having TCU in over Baylor because Baylor had a head-to-head and they had the same record. So what did they do? They threw them both out and put Ohio State in. Ohio State, who blasted Wisconsin 59-0 in the Big Ten championship game, but an Ohio State team that had an ugly home loss to a Virginia Tech team that went 6-6 that year. They found the escape hatch. They're going to do whatever they want. So whatever they do today is completely irrelevant. It's just a TV show to get us talking. So I'm not going to watch, and I would recommend you not watch or care either, because you got a month of football still to play. So any emotional equity that you invest into these rankings tonight is completely wasted. So do like I'm going to do. Ignore it. Watch Maction. Watch the World Series. Watch grass grow. It doesn't matter. Anything that you do will be more productive than watching the dopes on TV tonight explain their dopey rankings of a bunch of dopes sitting in a room with their dopey computers making dopey rankings that don't matter for anything. All right. It's after further review. I've spoken my piece. We'll knock out a quick break. One thing that could happen is LSU in the Orange Bowl. I will lay out exactly what needs to happen for that to happen when we come back to wrap up hour number 1 next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana, title sponsor of our Tuesday shows all throughout the year. Tell you every day, better coverage for less money. They're open for another 45 minutes. Great opportunity to call Insurance Network of Louisiana now. A lot of you have probably heard me talk over the years about Insurance Network of Louisiana, and maybe even more relevant today because post-Ida, so many insurance providers have left the state. So if you're in that number, if your insurance provider dropped you after Ida because they left the state and you're looking for insurance, call Insurance Network of Louisiana. They've been dealing with this for months and months and months now, and they can help find you better coverage for less money. It's Insurance Network of Louisiana. Always love sharing great testimonials with you, and I got so many. One was a AFR listener named Nick. They increased his coverage by $100,000, saved him $2,000 annually. Better coverage for less money. Insurance Network of Louisiana.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Enter now for a chance to win a catch and cook fishing experience from the Louisiana Charter Boat Association with me, Chef Jay Ducote, winner of Beat Bobby Flay. Register now at gocatch.com. That's GEAUX catch.com.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Saban office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Saban have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. I do like going through bowl projections, and if you followed the show for any length of time, I've been very bullish that I have wanted to see LSU play in the Las Vegas Bowl. If you're not going to be in an Elite Bowl, a New Year's Six game, then you can keep your Music City Bowl, you can keep your Relia Quest, you can keep your Gator Bowl. Give me Vegas.
Vegas, baby. Vegas!
Give me Vegas. Give me Vegas. Give me LSU against a Pac-12 school in an NFL stadium. Give me LSU fans in Vegas. Texas, keep your Texas Bowl. Very nice. Thanks for inviting us last year. All that sort of stuff. Just give me Vegas. Give me Vegas. That's what I want.
Vegas, baby. Vegas!
Give me Vegas. But I keep seeing all these bowl projections. Got like Florida and Arkansas going to Vegas, which is stupid. Well, last week, our friends over at Sports Illustrated put out their bowl projection. Then they had LSU in the Orange Bowl. And that completely made me reverse course because, yes, I would love to go to Vegas. But if I get to use Gordy Rush's company credit card to spend a week on South Beach and run that bill, I mean, what do you think, Muse? What do you think a beer costs on South Beach? Any kind of cocktail. Like
beer, I'd go $10.
A 5X of whatever you
like
pay in Baton Rouge.
Minimum beer, $10.
Let me just run up Gordy's credit card in Miami. The finest hotels, the most expensive dinners, the most expensive Ubers. Forget an Uber. I'm going to get like an Escalade to drive me around everywhere. That's what
Escalade
I'm doing.
limo?
That's what I'm doing, the stretch. That's what I'm doing. All over Miami. So, looking at a lot of new bowl projections this week. Seeing a lot of Citrus Bowl. LSU Illinois Citrus Bowl this week. That would stink. Oh, Brett Bielema, Illinois, boring. LSU's opening the season next year in that stadium also against Florida State. I don't think we really want to see that. USA Today's got LSU in the Gator Bowl. Jacksonville's beautiful, but that's not where that's December the 30th. And Gator Bowl, not. Give me Miami. That's what we all want. We want the Orange Bowl. All right, so here's your path. Thank you. We don't have to listen to Will Smith the whole time. Here's your path. So remember, for the Orange Bowl, it's the ACC against either the Big Ten, the SEC, or Notre Dame. So if the ACC champion is in the playoff, then that becomes another at-large spot. So the first thing you need to have happen, obviously, is LSU finish strong. 10-2 would make them a virtual lock. They might actually make the Sugar Bowl if they're 10-2. But even if you lose to Bama, win your last three, you go 9-3, here's the path. You need Clemson in the college football playoff because that means the ACC champion would be in the playoff and make that an at-large spot. Now, similar to how the Sugar Bowl fills that slot, if they can, with an SEC school, the Orange Bowl could do the same with the ACC. So you need North Carolina and Wake Forest to lose more football games. And that is possible if you look at their schedule. So Wake losing this weekend to Louisville was really big. It was significant. And there are losses ahead, I believe, for North Carolina. They're 7-1 right now, but I don't think North Carolina is going to go 11-1 on the season. When you look at what they've got ahead, they're at Virginia, they're at Wake Forest, which is certainly one they could lose. They play Georgia Tech and then NC State, which is one they could lose as well. So there's probably losses out there. So cheer for Clemson to go undefeated and make the playoff. Cheer against North Carolina and Wake Forest. You want those two teams to lose. You also have to cheer against Penn State and against Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is going to lose again. I don't think we have to worry about that. But you really need to cheer against Penn State also. Penn State's got 2 losses, and the rest of the schedule is manageable for them. But if Penn State gets to a 3rd loss, then the Orange Bowl is likely going to have a 3-loss team in that game either way. So, and Notre Dame is not even going to be considered at this point. So, really, that's your path. You need Clemson to go undefeated. You need North Carolina and Wake Forest to lose so they're not in the New Year's Six conversation. And it would be nice if Penn State lost again. But what you could potentially see is an LSU-Penn State matchup in the Orange Bowl, which would be pretty cool if it were to play out that way. So you need LSU to win, Clemson in undefeated in the playoff. You need Wake and North Carolina to lose. all those things happen, which are plausible, LSU has a pretty clear path to the Orange Bowl. That'd be awesome. LSU hadn't been to the Orange Bowl since 1982. It's in my lifetime. That was the first season that I was alive, was the 82 LSU season when they went to the 83 Orange Bowl. So it hadn't happened in 40 years. It's time. It's time for it to happen. There is a path for it to happen. All right, it's after further review. Game 3 of the World Series is tonight in Philadelphia after it was postponed yesterday. Our buddy Will Harris is going to join us coming up right after the top of the hour. Let us know what he saw through the first 2 games. Who does the delay benefit, if anyone, what he sees heretofore? We appreciate Will for jumping aboard with us during this postseason run. He'll join us right after SportsCenter. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. You know where to find them, Michelli.com. Give my buddy Joel McMullen and the gang over at Michelli a shout. Give them a try. They're phenomenal. What you'll see is, even though that they've grown the way they have over 75 years, 29 offices across 11 different states, they've maintained their local ownership and their local values as well. I love that, there's times Joel will pop up to Baton Rouge, we'll meet, have lunch, maybe go to a ball game, during the LSU baseball season. He'll make it a point. This is the president and CEO of the company along the way to stop in at all of their clients along the way from New Orleans to Baton Rouge, just to pop in and say hello and see if they need anything. That's what personalized customer service of being a locally owned and operated business have provided Michelli as they've grown and remain that local ownership for 75 years. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. They are hiring. Tap the careers tab at the top of the website and learn more. Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com.
They said I was small, weak, said my heart wasn't strong enough. But I showed them what heart looked like, again and again and again. Mom got me the right care, the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Don't let people tell you who you are. Show them the right card, the right care.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. A coaching change in the NBA. The Nets and coach Steve Nash mutually agreeing to part ways. Brooklyn off to a 2-5 start and dealing with another controversy surrounding Kyrie Irving. So Nash out the door, not a surprise to ESPN's Nick Friedel.
When you have nonstop issues off the floor, and the team is not playing well on the floor and isn't becoming the group that you wanted them to be, and you don't have the type of personalities that can all get on the same page and play well, I think Steve thought to himself, I got a lot of other things I want to do in my life right now.
The Nets are progressing on the hiring of suspended Celtics coach Ime Udoka, reports ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. The deal is expected to be finalized by midweek. Jacques Vaughn is the Nets' acting head coach. On this NFL trade deadline day, the Bills got the pass-catching running back out of the backfield they'd been looking for, acquired Nyheim Hines from the Colts for running back Zach Moss and a draft pick. The Dolphins acquired linebacker Bradley Chubb from the Broncos for a package that includes Miami's 2023 first-rounder from San Francisco.
The new Venture X card from Capital One. Earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars and 5x miles on flights when you book through Capital One Travel, plus 2x miles on all other purchases. Capital One. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Talk some Nick Saban, his history in Baton Rouge. Lee will be with us in about 15 minutes. Sean Salisbury next hour. Glad you are here. And we appreciate Will Harris for jumping aboard with us again. 2017 World Series champion with the Houston Astros. Been with us here during this postseason run, giving us some insight. We appreciate you jumping back aboard, man. How are you?
Doing well, man. Looking forward to the game tonight.
Hey, who does the postponement yesterday benefit? Either team, or does it?
I actually thought that it may benefit the Astros a little bit, thinking that Verlander could come back sooner, but then I was wrong. They're keeping Javier for Game 4, so I guess I'd change that and say Philadelphia, because their bullpen's probably going to have to throw the most out of both teams in this series, and they'll get a little rest, a little extra day.
What is it? Look, the Astros obviously had to go heavy on their bullpen in Game 1, but what is it like as a reliever when you know you're going to be called upon? Maybe, I mean, you got to empty the bag, right? I mean, do you prepare any differently?
No, I don't think you really prepare any differently. I mean, you know where it's at, right? Like, you know, this is the last possibly 7 games that you're playing the whole year, and you're preparing to pitch in all 7. Now, very rarely does it work out where a reliever will do that. A lot of times it's like a left-handed specialist will do it, right? A guy that'll come in and face like maybe 1 or 2 hitters. But guys that are throwing full innings, multiple innings, you're not going to throw every day. But yeah, I think you prepare the same. You understand the other hitters in the lineup. It also gets progressively harder as you get deeper into a series. You don't ever play 6 or 7 straight games against the same team. So you're facing the same guys, you know, you're not changing, they're not changing. So it's kind of the margin for errors really shrink as you get deeper into the season, in the series.
So that's interesting. So the deeper a series goes, advantage offense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's always, I feel like it's always kind of the case, right? I mean, it's one thing, you know, it's almost like playing interleague, right? Like I used to love playing interleague because you'd face guys that didn't ever face you or hadn't seen you, And so it's like, I can get away with a little more. For me, they don't know my ball's going to cut, right? I can actually kind of get on them and do something they're not used to. But, when you play, say, an in-division game late in September, it's like, all right, tricks are, they're out of the bag, right? Like, I'm going to have to really make pitches. Same thing in the postseason when you deep into these series. And look, like I said, man, they've sliced and diced these matchups up analytically, tendency-wise, so these hitters almost know what you're going to do before you're going to do it. Now, saying that, everybody that both teams keep running out there throw 100 miles an hour. So, like, you could know, hey, man, I'm throwing it right here, and they still are going to swing and miss and or foul it off a lot of the time. So, but, yeah, I think the margin for error gets a little bit less the deeper you go in these games. And I would say that's why I think advantages to Houston even more, because they just have so many guys they can run out there. I mean, Ryan Stanek is not even pitching for them, and this guy, had a sub, like a 1.2 ERA on the season, throws 100 miles an hour, and you haven't seen a lot of him yet. So we'll see how it plays out.
Man, it was so funny watching David Robertson in Game 1. Will, I mean, as a guy who watches a ton of Yankees baseball, like, I even tweeted, I'm like, Robertson, I think I tweeted there's like a 4% chance Robertson has a clean inning, but he is masterful at cleaning up the mess he gets into. It's exactly what happened. I mean, that was a quintessential David Robertson inning. I'm going to ask an obvious question, but hopefully you'll elaborate. Like, for the Phillies to get that Game 1, it had to just be so massive. How big was that? Was them getting Game 1 and taking home field back?
Yeah, I alluded to it in one of our conversations with Verlander starting Game 1. I thought that was going to be a humongous game because of his track record in the World Series now, and him not getting that monkey off of his back. Right, it's going to be an even bigger monkey come Game 5 when he's back in there on the road in Philadelphia in front of that crowd. I can't wait for that game. So. It was huge. I mean, I was watching it with my family, and I told one of my brothers, like, this is going to get interesting right here, because the Astros, they hit Robertson pretty well. And I've been in the bullpen many times in the dugout when we've gotten to him, and when he was with New York, and I was like, it's going to get interesting right here. And it was. And then with the whole, Diaz leaning into the pit, it was like you're saying, it was a perfect David Robertson clean, unclean inning. But yeah, I mean, now it's a series, man. It's a battle now. I mean, the Astros could have jumped out to a 2-0 lead, and nobody would have thought that was even, a big deal. But like, yeah, we kind of expected that because of the type of ball club that they have. But them taking Game 1 from JV now, them sticking with Javier in Game 4, Philadelphia getting to skip Syndergaard's start now, and so you get to go with Suarez and Nola here. Like, it's a series, man, and they play really well at home. That crowd is crazy. It's probably going to be a little cold. So, Houston's not used to playing that. Now, they played a lot of postseason baseball. I'll give them that. And if you're playing in postseason October, November, you're used to playing in the cold weather. So I don't think that's really that big of a deal. But yeah, it's always, the World Series is always going to be a good series, but now I'm really interested in some of these, underlying stories we got going on.
Will Harris is here. It's McCullers against Suarez tonight. You got a lean there?
Yeah, I mean, the Astros have really struggled. When I was there, we used to really struggle against left-handed pitching. Which I thought was really strange because of some of the guys that we had in that lineup. I don't know if that's still the case, but I would assume it would be for them skipping Syndergaard and getting to Suarez as soon as they could. But I like Lance. Lance is a guy that likes to throw a lot of breaking balls, so we'll see how that plays out in cold weather, right? Like, it's not as easy to do that when the ball feels like a cue ball in your hand, especially with now, you can't use anything or any kind of pine tar or anything like that on your fingers. So I'll see how this plays out. But I mean, I just like Houston, man. I just think that they're just a juggernaut. They just kind of keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. That lineup is so deep that I'm always going to favor them no matter who they're playing. But it'll be fun, man. Citizens Bank is going to be rocking. I mean, the city of Philadelphia right now, you're talking about the Eagles and now, the Phillies, like these fans they're hot.
Hey, do you I'm assuming you've played plenty of times in Citizens Bank. I'm thinking about, does the change? I think last week we talked about, the home run that Bregman hit off of the Yankees, right, and how he knew his ballpark. Does the shift in venue make a big deal for these two teams tonight?
I don't think, because both of them are bandboxes. Like, they're really small stadiums. So, Philadelphia has been known to be a really small stadium. On the ball, just has, homers are hit there a lot. So I would say it'd be more interesting, say, if you were going and playing like in Kansas City or some of these ballparks that seem to play bigger, San Francisco, and it'd be a different style of game. But Minute Maid and Citizens Bank both have a tendency to give up a lot of homers, and so I don't feel like it's going to be that big of a deal. It gets a little wompy in like center field a little bit with a couple of weird angles and caroms and stuff like that. I know the bullpens, you're like as far away as you could possibly be from home plate and still be in the stadium. Okay, like you are up in the center field concourse in the concession stand. So, like, this game might be 4 hours if they make a lot of pitching changes, because it takes you a solid 6 minutes to get down those stairs and get out to the mound. But other than that, man, these guys they're pros. It's a baseball game, and they're way focused on who it is that they're facing, the matchups, the hitters or the pitchers and things like that, than they are the actual ballpark they're playing in.
I'm not sure if I asked you a series prediction before we started. Did you give one?
I'm sure I said the Astros. I probably was, big on the Astros.
Were you thinking
they just do everything so well.
No, were you thinking like 6 or 7? I mean, did you think it would go long or?
I really thought that the game one was a really big one. I think I remember saying that if the Astros won game one with Verlander, that they would probably sweep them.
Yeah.
And then with them losing that game, it's like now it's like this thing can go. It could go. I could see it going 7, just because. Like I said, I'll say it again. I'm so interested in Verlander. I mean, who knows if he ever gets a chance to get back to the World Series, right? Like, this could be his last one. I mean, the guy's 39 years old. He's still going to pitch in his career, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if he's signing back with the Astros. And it might be his last shot, and it's crazy to think with all the things he's accomplished in baseball and all the records that he has to be 0-7 or 0-8 with 9 starts in the World Series. It's just so puzzling to me, and I'm anxious to see how he comes out, man, in Game 5. I can't wait.
Game 3 is tonight there at Citizens Bank Ballpark. We'll all be watching. He is Will Harris. Always appreciate it, man. Thanks for jumping aboard with us again.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Right, be well. Will Harris join us here on AFR. You want to bet on that game, of course, you can do it at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Of course, new customers use the promo code Baton Rouge. Of course, you could bet on the World Series. You could bet on MACtion tonight. You could bet on the NFL, NBA. DraftKings is an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Remember, new customers make a $5 money line wager. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Make a $5 money line wager on any NBA game. If your bet hits, they'll give you $200 in free bets. Got stepped-up same-game parlays available for everyone. You got to opt in. You get up to 100% stepped-up same-game parlays. Learn more at DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus issued as free bets. 1 boost per eligible game. Opt-in required. Parlay and wagering restrictions apply. Eligibility and terms at DraftKings.com/football terms. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem. Call 1-877-7-0-STOP. Lee Feinswog's so old that he had gray hair when Nick Saban was coaching here. And we'll talk to Lee, who we haven't talked to in a long time, about Nick Saban and about beer when we come back. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. Tell you every day, make sure you get that preseason heater safety check. It's a great opportunity to do it. Save $30 just by mentioning the Moscona special. Mention the show. They'll save you $30 on your preseason heater safety check. But I also love sharing great testimonials and great reviews. Here's a 5-star review that came in from Fenwick Johnson, who said, the servicemen are always on time, professional, and informative. Kevin Webb did an outstanding job, and if given a choice, he would be a favorite. He was very informative and professional. You hear that about all the technicians at River City's 1 Hour Air because they're expertly trained, and River City's 1 Hour believes in continuing education for their technicians throughout the years they work there. That's why they have such great retention as well, for the great benefits package. If you're looking for a job, they're always hiring. River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001. Call for that preseason heater safety check and mention the Moscona special, 752-0001.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Who is this?
Yeah, where's Waldo? Something like that, right?
Been a minute. Ali Feinswog joins us. Where you been?
Man. Well, the last couple of Tuesdays, I actually was on planes right at this time, which was bad planning by my travel agent. But of course, I am the travel agent.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
But I was in Massachusetts for a week, including last weekend in Holyoke, Massachusetts. Why, you might ask? And are you ready? Ding, boys, are you ready?
Oh, here we go.
It's the site of the International Volleyball Hall of Fame and
There
the
it is.
birthplace of that same sport. So I do have one. There are many stories from there from my end, but the one that was the coolest is there's a patch that the police wear on their left shoulder that says Holyoke Police, and it's got birthplace of volleyball written on it with a logo of a ball. And so we're at this mayor's reception on Friday night. You're not letting me finish the story. Then you can laugh. So they have the patch. Stop it. And then I said, I really wish I could have one of those patches. And Captain Matt Moriarty, sitting by me, pulls a knife out of his pocket and slices the patch off of his left shoulder and hands it to me, and everybody went crazy. So I took a picture with him, and I'm going to put the picture and that patch in a frame. I have to. I mean, it was the only thing. It was so funny.
I'm going to assume that the Holy Oak Police Department doesn't deal with many high-tech, intense, or violent crimes on a day-to-day basis, which is probably a very good thing. I could be wrong. Could be a wrong assumption.
No, it's a city that actually has its problems like any city.
Yeah.
It just happens to be small.
Okay.
But a wonderful place, and they treated us great. So anyway, that's just one of the many places that I've been of late. I can't even remember the last time we talked.
Yeah, me
But
either.
it was back when I was still doing Oktoberfest, and I'm still doing Oktoberfest. It's only not tonight. I won't. Although I will tell you, the one I didn't get to get in because now it's November, but you can still buy it. Faubourg out of New Orleans, nice Oktoberfest. I've seen a couple of them still around. I got to try one of them late in the month. Good
yeah,
stuff.
they've done really good beer. I like them a lot. So it's been so long that we talked that I think the last time we talked, Nick Saban was still the coach at LSU. How about that?
He did his first media appearance with me on the old Sports Monday. Herb Vincent, who was then the sports information director, drove him to the show. Remember, we were live in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I always have told you that was one of the longest 2 hours of my life that night. It was just miserable. And he was so uptight, and every answer was like towards the fans, looking at the camera. And he gets in the car with Herb later, and he goes, and Herb knew. We looked at each other a couple of times during the show, and it's like, we're both dying here. And he gets in the car with Herb and goes, that went pretty good, didn't it? And he goes, I'd like to do that again. Luckily for me, he always did. And, who knew?
He would come on with you like every year or whatever?
Well, what we did with him always was he set the precedent back then was we did a preseason show where we brought the whole operation out to LSU, and he would visit with us. And that was a time when he had the best sense of humor, told the most stories. He was really good. I haven't seen Nick in quite a while, but he was always very, very good to me. Always went out of his way to be accommodating, and we had some fun banter back in the day.
Why do you think the reputation that Saban has is sort of the antithesis of that?
Well, he's real short with people. He's real driven. He thinks everybody should work like him and think like him. And I heard stories here that like he'd be in the athletic building and just walk right past people, like looking at them but not seeing them because he was thinking of something else. And they'd go like, "Hi, Coach," or "Hi, Nick," and he wouldn't even answer them because hopefully he's better at those kind of things now. But who knows? I mean, if nothing else, he's the greatest college football coach of all time. I don't think there's any doubt about that, is there?
I don't think so, but I hesitate because I mean, look, he's got 7 national titles now, so he's broken his tie with Bear Bryant, which not that national titles would be the only thing by which you are judged, but certainly would have to be the most important. And I don't know how we have any other conversation, especially considering the eras in which he has won them as he's evolved through scholarship restrictions, NIL, change of offense. I mean, just, other teams having resources. He's the greatest ever. It's
and not just because of what he did at Alabama. I mean, he had an unbelievable run at Michigan State that was unprecedented almost at the time. And
I don't think we can call his Michigan State run unbelievable or unprecedented.
No. Well, the last season, the one that got him the job at LSU.
He won 9 games.
But they beat teams they just hadn't beaten in forever.
Okay.
And then he came to LSU and he turned the program around and did such a great job here.
Look, I'm not questioning Nick, but right. I think sometimes we look on his early career with a certain reverence, understanding what he became later. But his tenure at Michigan State, I'm looking at it right now, 5 years.
Yeah.
He was 34-24-1, and in the Big Ten, he was 23-16-1. It's very good.
And another great note. The guy he replaced at LSU, Jerry DiNardo, was at LSU the exact same amount of time.
Yeah.
And his record was a half a game worse because there was a tie in there, if memory serves. And DiNardo beat him head to head. maybe in the Independence Bowl, if memory serves.
They did. It was the 95 Independence. It was DiNardo and Saban's first year at their respective schools, and LSU beat them there in Shreveport.
But
yeah.
Nick was on an up escalator, and Jerry was on a down.
There's no doubt at all about that. Lee, what about I don't know. Maybe we're at this point where we can have the conversation about Nick's legacy here whenever he's done, and people have made up their mind. But I tend to believe that once he stops coaching, it's going to kind of have the Spurrier effect. Everybody hated Steve Spurrier when he coached because he was at Florida. He was a jerk. He beat everybody, and he told everybody he was going to beat you. But when he no longer became a threat, people could appreciate him. I think that might actually be what happens with Nick here. What do you think?
Yeah, I could see there being let's just say Nick was out of coaching and they did a reunion of the championship team. I can't imagine he wouldn't be extremely well received and enjoy it. You know, I just couldn't imagine it would be anything else. It's you know, you have to look back and go, hey, before he got here, what had happened in LSU in the previous, say, 20 years, and then what's happened in the time since he got here, how good it's been minus a couple of seasons. You have to give him a tremendous amount of credit for that. You know, coaches use that phrase, we've got to go in and change the culture. I'm still not 100% sure what that means. But he came in and truly changed the culture here and made it a winning program and set the standards high and got the university to buy in to spend, you know, unlimited amounts of money for basically anything he might have needed.
You know what that means when people say change the culture.
Well, it can be more things than just, you know, well, can it be in this case getting, you know, all the organizations that contribute money to do so? Can it be getting the players to buy in?
All of it.
Can it be, you know, getting the coaches to be in lockstep with you? Now, the one thing goes back to the things you said about him earlier. He's probably had more assistants per capita during his time. You know, it's amazing how many people have come and gone and worked for him. But it's also, you know, to his credit, how many of them are successful head coaches.
Yeah, I mean,
and successful assistant coaches elsewhere. You know.
I've said it before. A lot of LSU fans don't like it. I won't slander that man. I love him. I mean, I'm miserable that he's been at Alabama for as long as he has and won as much as he has. But I mean, LSU is what it is because of him. And for me, I mean, being a student, I was a senior at LSU in 2003 when they won the national championship. And I mean, I never thought I'd see that in my life. So, and everything LSU has become has been in large part because, I mean, he lit the fuse. A lot of great people did great work after him to continue what we've seen, but it started because of him. So
yeah, no doubt.
I will always keep that in perspective and be very grateful for it.
However, when he was the coach at LSU, if I had told you all these years later, for he was a guy who always believed in a solid running attack, a balanced offense, and the game has changed so much.
Yeah.
LSU is 7th in the SEC in rushing, and the quarterback has more than 33% of its rushing yards, and yet they're a dynamo. And that was the biggest thing that, you know, when I made, you know, the ill-founded prediction for them, this is one of the greatest surprises in all of sports in a long time, what these guys have done. But the game has changed so much this quarterback is so much better than I ever imagined.
Well, that's probably because you never watched him play before. And that's not a total knock, but I'm guessing that's true. I'm guessing you never watched him play.
Not a big Arizona State fan.
Yeah, but he had been very good at times during his time there, and he was a very dynamic player. But you did pick them 5-7, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, so
that was grotesque. That was grotesquely wrong, wasn't it?
We have mocked Russ Mitchell here for predicting LSU 4-8. So, alas, I must mock you, but I mock you all the time anyway. So it may
yes, you do. But with love is what I always tell people. No, we really do like each other. We're friends.
Yes, absolutely,
you know?
absolutely.
No, yeah, no, absolutely. So you know what? Is this a great week to be a sports fan though? If you just want to watch TV and hang out,
yeah.
You got the World Series, you know, tied 1-1. It's good series, fun teams, and then Saturday. I'm really looking forward to watching those back-to-back football games.
Yeah,
you know, Tennessee, Georgia. And then Alabama, LSU. That should be fantastic television.
I hope it delivers.
You know, sports TV.
I really
do. It should. Is this correct though that there's prediction for inclement weather here Saturday?
Yeah, I've seen that. And you know what? I kind of want to knock on wood because I thought about that last week that LSU had gotten through October without having a single rain game, a single bad weather game, and thought we might avoid it altogether. But it can always be a little fishy up in northwest Arkansas, so we'll see when LSU goes to Fayetteville. But, as you look ahead to Saturday, as of now, there's a 100% chance of rain on Saturday, but whether or not it affects the game, I guess, remains to be seen. So you have a feeling we got to get going. We're short on time.
Sure.
Do you have a thought on the game?
Alabama 31-21.
Okay, that's not a bad score.
Yeah,
I could see something like that happening actually. But either way, win or lose.
Either way, win or lose,
there will be beer.
What is the malted liquor? What gets you drunker quicker? What comes in bottles or in cans? Beer. Can't get enough of it. Beer. How we really love it. Beer. Makes me think I'm a man. Beer. I could kiss and hug it, but I'd rather chug it. Beer. Got my belly out to here. Beer. I could not refuse it. Beer. I could really use it. Beer. Beer. Beer.
All right, take it away.
All right, so you know how, Halloween's not even over and they got Thanksgiving stuff out.
Yes.
And Thanksgiving's not even here and then you'll start seeing Christmas stuff.
Correct.
And it's just wrong, but I have to contribute to it because the Shiner Annual Holiday Cheer beer is out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the Shiner Cheer, as they say, an old world Dunkelweizen brewed with Texas peaches and roasted pecans. The malty flavors of this dark wheat flavored ale are enhanced through the use of malted barley and wheat, and krausening ensures a smoothness that makes the subtle peach and pecan flavors all the more satisfying, whatever krausening is. But the Holiday Cheer beer is here from Shiner, and it's really good. It's 5.4% alcohol, Matt, and they say food pairing, roasted pork and sausage. How can you not like that? Or banana cream pie. I personally don't drink beer and eat banana cream pie at the same time, but I do. Shiner is another one of those that for the longest time it just felt like they just had Shiner Bock and it was just okay. But this is one of their many, many good beers. So Oktoberfest was great, but now it's on to new things. And it's, as they say, 'tis the season for cheer. Sorry to start the holidays too early, but there you go.
Pecan.
Pecan.
No, you're wrong.
Yeah. Either way.
No, we've been over this.
I know.
The
it's
pronunciation.
So good to catch up again, but I have to tell you, next Tuesday. So I'll talk to you 2 weeks from today, buddy.
All right. That's Larry Feinstein. We'll visit with him somewhere.
Tim Brando
down
on Sports 225 this week. Good show. And he thinks LSU could beat Alabama. In fact, he was leaning that way.
Okay. Sports225.com. Thank you, Lee.
Who loves you, Matt?
Lots of people, but among them is certainly you. Lee Feinswog. Thank you. We appreciate it. It's after further review. Stick around.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org. That's brgeneral.org. Always encourage you to get to the website, read information about all the different services that they offer at the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org. You can go to the website. Right there on the homepage, you'll see a list of all of their featured services from their cancer center, which is the Pennington Cancer Center at the Bluebonnet campus. Their emergency facilities. There's emergency room at Bluebonnet, Mid-City, which reopened amid COVID. Emergency room at the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital, which means for the first time ever, Ascension Parish has your own ER. The Heart and Vascular Center. You can deliver your baby there at the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Primary care physicians, surgery center. You can view all the services at the website at brgeneral.org. And remember, of course, they've got the Express Care locations as well. Walk-in, urgent care, 7 days a week. You can log on to brgeneral.org. You can download the app. You can see wait times right there at the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Online, brgeneral.org.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Saban office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Saban have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
After going back and looking at the tape, I think it was the most complete game that we've played up to this point. I thought we did some really good things, both offensively, defensively, and the kicking game. You know, I think, you know, that was a game that we needed to play well. I thought our guys answered the bell and responded, and now the goal is to, you know, try to duplicate that and you know, move on to Baltimore and get ready to, you know, try to win another game.
Congratulations to Jimmy Russell of Prairieville. Jimmy is our Week 9 winner in the 2022 Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em Contest and wins a $50 Twin Peaks gift card. Don't forget to make your picks for Week 10 by 5 p.m. on Thursday. Play the 2022 Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em today at 1045ESPN.com.
Oh, Dennis Allen thinks a shutout win over the third best scoring offense in the NFL was their most complete game of the season. Bold.
It's a shot in the dark, I think.
Bold.
More than anything, yeah.
They were awesome. There's no way around it. He was also asked if he thought he could see if he could see it coming, a performance like that.
I felt like we had a good week of practice. I felt like our guys were locked into the plan. You know, I think our guys are always, you know, conscious and focused in on getting themselves ready to play, but yet, you know, there's that 1 degree, you know, where it makes the difference between winning and losing. I thought our guys had that last degree this past week.
Look, the Saints had been close, but that's such is life in the NFL, right? I mean, the margin's close. Talk to Baltimore. I mean, Baltimore, the team you're going to play this week, is 5-3, and they're, you know, a minute collectively away from being a one-loss team. You know, just, you know, they lost by 4 to the Dolphins. They lost by 3 to Buffalo. And the ending of the Giants game, which happened the way it did in New York, where they lost 24-20. I mean, that team could very easily be undefeated. So it's the NFL. You got to play 60 minutes and everybody's good. You know, it was interesting also, though, to hear Dennis Allen talk about the offensive line and their role in this recent run of success. And it's pretty obvious also that the pressure rate has gone down here the past couple of weeks, and it's allowed the Saints to have clearly more offensive success.
You know, it's hard to run the ball the way we've been able to run the ball unless your offensive line is playing effectively. There's a lot of elements that go into it, you know, but I do think that our offensive line has been playing pretty well. You know, we've done a pretty good job of run block, and we've done a pretty good job of protecting for the quarterback, you know, and I just feel like, you know, generally when you're in a little bit of a groove offensively, you know, all those things kind of start up front. No different than defensively. When we get in a groove defensively, it's generally led by the way that our front plays. So that's really how our team's kind of been built, you know, along both lines of scrimmage. And I thought both sides, you know, affected the game yesterday.
And that was the most concerning part of the struggles, because the Saints have built their team at the line of scrimmage. I mean, Sean Payton built an offensive line to protect Drew Brees where? With the highest paid guard tandem in NFL history, when they had Nix and Evans. It was all about not blowing up the launch pad. Defensively, look at what the Saints have invested in their defensive line. Obviously, you used a first-round pick on Sheldon Rankins. You paid David Onyemata all that money. I mean, you have invested in your defensive front. Peyton Turner, Marcus Davenport, Cam Jordan. It's been the line of scrimmage. It's where they've invested. And that had been the real concerning thing, is that a lot of where your investment had been. Ryan Ramchik's a first-rounder. I mean, we all know the names, but it's like Cesar Ruiz is a first-rounder. Andrew Speed's a first-rounder. I mean, Merrick McCoy was a second-rounder, but he was your first pick in that draft. And then, so that was the concern. I mean, you had invested so much capital in the line of scrimmage, they weren't performing. And it seems like the past couple of weeks they've come along. It's the most encouraging thing, certainly, about the Raiders game was the defensive line affecting the game the way they did. Now, as far as the offensive line, one of those first rounders, of course, also is Trevor Penning, another first-round pick that you invested in an offensive lineman, was injured in the preseason, was out there for all three preseason games, and was playing an awful lot, and was a dominant run blocker. He had a Pro Football Focus grade around 92 as a run blocker in the preseason. Injured his foot, haven't seen him yet. Dennis Allen Monday gave an update on Penning.
You know, he's out of the boot now. He's started, with some cardio stuff and on the treadmill and things of that nature. So, he's progressing.
You know, I don't know what kind of a role Penning would have when you get him back this year. But there's a couple of things that are obvious. One is it provides great depth. You know, even if he doesn't immediately step in and snatch the starting left tackle job away from Hurst, no biggie. I mean, in time, he's your left tackle of the future. But if nothing else, you've got a super talented player that's your sixth lineman that can play tackle or can play the interior spots. The other part of it is something we've seen the Saints do for years is the tackle eligible, like the extra blocker. For years, we saw Will Clapp do that. You tackle eligible, 64 reporting eligible. Well, that could be Trevor Penning. You get that dude, put him on the end as a tackle eligible, another blocker in space. Yeah, I'll take that guy in certain sets and packages to get him on the field. So it only makes you better. It's the obvious thing to say, but when Trevor Penning will be back, we'll see. Initially, that timeline was early November. Well, it's November, and if he's out of the boot and just now starting to do cardio, it's unlikely to think he'll be playing soon. But remember, once they activate him, it's a 21-day window. Once they open that window, he's got 21 days from when they activate him to practice to then activate him on the 53 to play in games. So, and then if he's not able within those 21 days, then he has to go to season-ending IR. So that the clock is ticking a little bit here, but man, it would be great to get Trevor Penning back here within this 5-game stretch as we've talked about. This 5-game stretch that you're facing right now, which before the season looked like a really steep climb, feels more manageable. You know, the Ravens are a great football team, but you get that game at home in primetime on Monday Night Football. You know, the Steelers are on their way to a losing season. They just traded Chase Claypool. You got to play in Pittsburgh, but that's a winnable game. the Rams. That's a home game for the Saints, and boy, the Rams have certainly struggled at times this year. You're going to San Francisco is going to be a really big ask, but then you go to Tampa before your bye, and Tampa's a mess. So, I mean, before the season started, that looked like, man, Lamar Jackson at Pittsburgh, the defending champs in your building, at the Niners, who were in the NFC Championship game a year ago, at Tom Brady and the Bucs. That looked like a meat grinder. Now it looks much more manageable if you're starting to play at a higher level. So it's a great opportunity for the Saints team if they can find some consistency in their play and more resemble what they did this past Sunday against the Raiders. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by GMFS Mortgage. GMFSmortgage.com, changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans. If you're thinking about buying a home, great time to do it, man. Don't wait for rates to tick up anymore. Get in touch with that local loan officer at GMFS Mortgage. Remember, GMFS, largest local lender in Louisiana. Nobody in this state closes more loans than GMFS. As a matter of fact, they're number 11 in the country in USDA loans. They're incredible. What they've built at GMFS Mortgage, they can help you. They've held my hand through that. They always say we want to be your lender for life. That means if you're buying a home, if you're refinancing your home, if you're building a home, whatever loan product you may need. Maybe it's a cash-out refinance. Maybe you want to take some of your home's equity to do that home improvement project. You can do it. GMFS Mortgage can help. GMFSmortgage.com. GMFS Mortgage, changing lives. All right, it's After Further Review. Sean Salisbury will join us in about 16 minutes from right now. We always appreciate our visits with Sean every week. We'll preview LSU, Alabama, and, man, what in the world has gotten into the Saints team. We'll talk a little bit about Saints and kind of preview the game against the Ravens on Monday Night Football with Sean Salisbury coming up here in about 15 minutes from right now. Glad to have you aboard. We're not going to quick break. We'll have Tigers and the Pros to wrap up hour number 2 next.
AFR.
Get Gordon. Get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You've seen the billboards. You've heard the radio ads. You've seen the TV commercials. You've seen Gordon everywhere. He's the godfather of NIL here in Baton Rouge and around LSU and certainly around the state of Louisiana, as Gordon has been so integral, a part of our community and certainly a part of NIL as well. But maybe even more important than all of that is Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys have helped injured people in our state for years. If you've been injured, any kind of accident, it's not your fault, get Gordon and get it done. Go to getgordon.com. You can always give him a buzz in the 225-888-8888. Just a whole bunch of 8s, right? 888-8888 for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Follow him on all the social media as well. Get Gordon and get it done. Of course, you'll continue to follow all the Get Gordon athletes and the great work that they're doing through the Gordon Gives arm of the charitable arm of the firm as well. Get Gordon and get it done. Go to getgordon.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
If there's anything more worthless than the college football playoff rankings show, hey, it might be this. ESPN is doing a Gold Glove announcement, like an award show. They're announcing the finalists like an award show, and the nominees are. It's basically what they're doing, and then they're announcing the winner. But the great news: DJ LeMahieu, just in time for Tigers in the Pros. DJ LeMahieu wins the AL Gold Glove as a utility player. Is that his first Gold Glove?
I don't know that off the top of my head. Let's see. But I didn't know they gave out a Gold Glove to.
I didn't know that either.
To a utility player. That must be new, right?
I'll look it up. You do. Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Good. Congratulations to DJ LeMahieu.
Hey!
Now a 4-time Gold Glove winner. 2014, 2017, 2018, and now 2022.
What position? Second base? Prior? I guess would have to be, yeah?
That would take a little more digging, and I have other things to get to. You want to do
that?
Here
you go.
Okay.
List of Gold Glove award winners at second base. It would have to be.
So all of them? Or the other three? When did they start giving one out for a utility?
I'll look that up.
That feels very new.
He earned. Okay. Yeah, second base.
Okay. Joe Burrow last night, Monday Night Football, rough night for Joey B. 232 yards passing.
Rough night for the offensive line.
2 touchdowns and an interception. He was sacked 5 times, to your point. Their offensive line stinks. It's just not. They invested a lot of money, and they're still very bad. Defensively in that game, though, the Browns had a couple standouts from LSU. Deion Jones, 5 total tackles in the game, 3 of them solo, including 1 of the 5 sacks on Joe Burrow. Grant Delpit, 4 total tackles, 2 of those solos. And then Cade York, the man kicking the ball, 1 of 2 on field goals with a long of 55, 3 of 3 on the extra point.
He nailed the 55-yarder. The 53-yarder was blocked.
Yes.
Bummer, man. But first year ever for the utility Gold Glove.
Okay. I was going to say, that feels very new.
Yeah. So DJ is the inaugural winner of the Rawlings Gold Glove Award for utility players. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
On Monday, Sean McDermott, the Bills head coach, announced the team plans to activate cornerback Tre'Davious White from the PUP list. Adam Schefter, in the last hour, has announced that the Buffalo Bills have activated Tre'Davious White from the PUP list. According to Sean McDermott, he will remain day-to-day. Quote, he'll remain day-to-day and not really going to get into speculating on whether he's going to play this week or not. We'll see. He's been recovering from the ACL. And we have Lloyd Cushenberry. He'll miss time with a groin strain. The Broncos, they're off this week after a game in London versus the Jaguars. They play the Titans in Week 10. Now, they'll be without their starting center, so take the Titans, according to Mike D's angle there. What is it, like 1,000% of the time that team doesn't cover? Something like that?
I think it's like 80 or 85% of the time. Yeah.
World Series tonight. Alex Bregman hitting fourth for the Astros.
Who's without their center?
The Broncos.
Oh, because Lloyd's out.
Because Lloyd. Titans. Look at the Titans.
Hammer 'em.
Titans. Astros tonight. Bregman batting fourth, hitting .316, 9 RBI, 3 homers in the postseason. That's Tigers and Throws.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. Gentlemen, if you were thinking of popping the question, holidays are almost here. You're going to pop the question around Christmas time. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Go get that beautiful engagement ring and let the folks at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry help you along the way, where you'll always get the Lee Michaels experience. LMFJ.com. Sean Salisbury, hour 3 next.
AFR.
Happened again. Somebody slashed my tires. A weird thing to say, but on Friday I was at Shawbills because I had a razor blade in my rear driver's side tire. Today I show up at work and my rear passenger tire is low. I go look and I'll be darned, there's a razor blade in my tire. So somebody slashed my tires. Stay hot, Baton Rouge. But thankfully, Mr. Johnny here at work had a compressor. We filled up my tire, and then I rode over to Shawbills. So when I get off of work here, I'll be headed over to Shawbills and going to pick up the car for the second time in as many work days. ShawbillsTire.com, ShawbillsTire.com. And honest to goodness, true story. I pull into Shawbills. I'm getting out of the car. A guy next to me is getting out of his car. He says, "Are you Matt?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." He goes, "I'm here because I need to patch my tire." His name was Juan. So shout out to Juan for going to Shawbills, and thanks to Shawbills for doing awesome work. ShawbillsTire.com, ShawbillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices for more than 50 years. Shawbills, we keep you rolling.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Saban office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Saban have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jdacody.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Steve Nash's chaotic tenure as Nets coach is over. He and the team mutually agreed to part ways. Brooklyn's off to a 2-5 start and is dealing with another off-court controversy involving Kyrie Irving. Part of the problem for Nash and the Nets was that Kevin Durant and Irving weren't all in on their now former coach, believes ESPN's Kendrick Perkins.
If they didn't want Steve Nash in the offseason, what the hell makes you think they wanted him at the start of the season? And not saying that they were playing to get him fired, but if a coach is not demanding the locker room and you don't have your two superstars' attention that need to, where you can hold them accountable, then it's not going to work.
ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports the Nets are progressing on the hiring of suspended Celtics coach Ime Udoka to be the next head coach in Brooklyn. Assistant Jacques Vaughn is the Nets' acting head coach. On this NFL trade deadline day, the Bills got the pass-catching running back out of the backfield they've been looking for, acquired Nyheim Hines from the Colts for running back Zach Moss in a draft pick. Dolphins acquired linebacker Bradley Chubb from the Broncos for a package that includes Miami's 2023 first-round pick.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Get out there and make it a good one. Thanks for driving home with us. Do it every Tuesday. Thrilled to spend a couple of segments talking ball with Sean Salisbury. He's on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Make sure you follow him. Sean, we appreciate you, man. How are you?
I'm good, Matt. Good to be on with you, buddy.
Man, always our pleasure. I want to switch it up a little bit this week. I want to start with LSU because it's Bama week, and it's just a thing that resonates here. LSU's a 2-touchdown underdog. Would you give them, we'll go a little nuance here in a second, but would you give them more than just a puncher's chance in this game?
Yeah. Matter of fact, this is one of those parlay Tennessee and LSU as the dogs on the road this week if you're a gambler. I do. I give them more than a puncher's chance because I like the recent returns, and I like the way the defense is getting after it. I like how they've stepped up their game against some pretty good teams, and I like the evolution of the quarterback play from start to now. And one thing, Matty, I want to tell people, and you know this, but maybe something a little deeper dive into what can happen when you're the dog in games like this. I'm not talking about that they know the point spread, but the feeling that Georgia and Alabama may be better than Tennessee. Both are, Alabama may be going on the road, but it's Alabama and Georgia, because Tennessee hasn't treaded here in quite some time, right? It's been a long time. Yeah. So there can be tendency. I'm not saying Brian Kelly, he was at Notre Dame, he gets it, as he feels this team out, and also with Josh Heupel. There is a tendency at times when you're playing a game of this magnitude, using LSU, for example, of knowing that you're, I guess we could say outmanned because it's Alabama, just at least on paper, that you go into a game saying, okay, let's play this a little closer to the vest. Let's try to shorten the game, and let's try to get out of this thing, because if we're close in the fourth quarter, maybe have a chance. I get the thought process. But I also I subscribe to if you're LSU, I would not change what I've been doing the last few weeks that have helped me climb another rung of this ladder. Expand. Don't be afraid to take a shot against man coverage. It's the best you can hope for, is being man-to-man. Allow your quarterback to expand his game as well. We started to see a light switch go on. And then it doesn't mean you have to run it 8 times to start the game or throw it 8 times, but be multiple. Don't be afraid to go empty. Make them adjust to you instead of playing into a team that the perception across the country, it's Alabama, it's Georgia, and in the LSU case, Alabama. It's the same in Tennessee. You're on the road, between the hedges. You played really well against good teams. You dismantled Kentucky. Everybody thought it could have been a trap game, and you're beating people handily. If you're Josh Heupel, what's your specialty? Playing fast, running 75 to 90 plays, beating them to the punch. And when you play fast, you run more plays, which gives you a chance to score more. Georgia wants you to shorten it, wants you to slow it down, wants you to play a little timid. Oh, it's 17 to 17 at half. They're going to back off instead of attack because, well, we're Georgia. I would tell both, and LSU in particular, that if it let it rip, you're not a national championship team this year. It's Alabama. I don't think you're going to line up in a phone booth and play them. Do what you've done. Do not be afraid to step outside the box and be an attacker as opposed to a person who sits back. Be the lion in the game. And I know it sounds cheesy, but I think both of these teams have a legitimate chance to hang around. If you don't let, for instance, Bryce Young take over the game with extended plays, I would attack. I would not be on the passive aggressive mode. I would be on the attack mode from start to finish because I promise you, Georgia and Alabama are going to attack this weekend.
Sean, for so many years, in this game in particular for LSU, Bama defensively just felt like an impenetrable force. Like LSU just couldn't score. I mean, they literally went 10 years without scoring 20 points in this game.
Yep.
Bama's defense, I'm not going to say, don't get me wrong. I mean, I get what they allow like 16 points a game. They're still Bama. But they feel like there are cracks there. Where are they maybe vulnerable?
Oh, I think you can throw the ball on them as long as you can understand. And here's the thing. If you'll sew up protection, and I don't know if that means if you through tape study, if you think they're going to play you, for instance, in man coverage, and you decide to max protect it and deliver it against pressure, you got to have 2-man routes that can win. And you make an outstanding point on this now, and I see what you're saying. I understand the point, but it doesn't match my eye test. Does that make sense, Matt? The Alabama defense does not match my eye test. I've seen people throw the ball and move the ball on them regular. Listen, I saw Quinn Ewers go 10 of 12 or whatever in about a quarter, and the ball was coming out quickly, and that is the opposite. That's how you offset. If you felt that let's even say this was Alabama defense of, oh my gosh, Alabama defense, where they smothered everything you did. The best way to beat a team like that is don't play them to their strength. If you're playing a guy in a MMA fight and he's a better boxer than wrestler, then you got to grapple, man. If you're going to play if a guy if he gets you to the mat, you're done. Then you got to spread him out and finesse his ass to death and go. And it's the same in football. There is no difference. So they're going to look, and these coordinators on both sides are smart. They're going to find the weak point, try to exploit it. But my eye test tells me you can move the football against Alabama, where you must be great. Red zone. You can't come away with 3 field goals and a touchdown because in the end, Bryce Young has the ball. There's a chance that ball's getting moved. He's a really good player. We've seen it. But I watched Ewers do it. I watched Hendon Hooker do it. And they both did the same thing. They got the ball out quick, they played fast, and they made Alabama adjust to them as opposed to the opposite. And I can remember last time I was in that building for an Alabama game was, the year before before the monster year, right? When Alabama came in there and beat them down. The game was over in the second quarter.
Yeah.
And everything Alabama did, I mean, they were hitting the quarterback, getting after it. And then it became a timid, we're just trying to survive. I don't want them to survive. I expect you to attack them. When you play teams like this, especially this Alabama team, I think they want you to deal with the reputation more than what you see. 16 points a game isn't much, but you take into the whole body of work. Now let's look at the teams who did move it. Even though it won a lot of points, Ewers was out after the first quarter. Yeah. That game may have been different. I know the result of the statistics would have been. We saw what Tennessee did. It gets tough, and they can smother you, but you can move the ball on them. The problem is, can you score red zone touchdowns, or are you going to kick red zone field goals? If you kick field goals, you're not beating them. But if you can come away from here in the mid-20s, we are going to be in a game as long as their defense has meaning LSU's plays great football. Got to jump on them quick, but do not play scared on either side of the ball. And the biggest key is Bryce Young cannot be Bryce Young doing all the things. Make them one-dimensional. If that one dimension is just throwing, okay, then deal with it. May get some tip balls. If the other dimension is that they run it for 200 yards, but you get 3 picks defensively, great. Yards don't mean squat to me. Points do. I've always been taught that from Denny Green and everybody else. You keep them out of the end zone, you got a chance, and vice versa. Got to score in the red zone. You watch how big that'll be this week.
Sean, is LSU defensively capable of slowing Bama's offense?
I think so. Stop and no. I don't know many that are, Matty. And you try to say, okay, well, if there's not many that are, how do you beat them? Well, you say, well, can we sustain drives on offense? But sometimes that can be overrated in college football when a team can, like the Chiefs. Yeah, we won time of possession against the Chiefs, but they scored six series in a row, right? In 4 plays each. So I think they're capable. I mean, when you look at recruiting and just athletes, if you never knew a guy, LSU never has to take a backseat to anybody when it comes to the number of great football players they get. Confidence does matter. The ability to, get out to believe you can do it. I would, if you'd asked me this 6 weeks ago, I said probably not at the beginning of the season. But I'm seeing LSU play better. So athlete for athlete, then yeah. Now you're going to get more guys probably drafted in a higher round because it's Alabama and they're really good. But they're beatable. Let me tell you something now. You think about this. They lose another game. They're not playing in the Final Four unless they get help from a bunch of their friends.
Yeah.
They are not going with the 2-loss team because Michigan, Ohio State ain't losing 2. I doubt Tennessee's going to lose 2. Georgia's not losing 2. And I don't know if there's 2 losses on the team sitting on the outside of Clemson, TCU, that type of team. I don't know if there's 2 losses there. And this year, it's not the Alabama, oh, yeah, they lose, so we still got to consider them. You consider them, but if you go on the road and LSU takes care of them, different story. There's a lot of incentive for LSU. My favorite thing is, though, they can match them with some throws and some chunk plays as well. Make them go the one-dimensional way. So, yeah, they can. Now we got to find out, last time I thought they could too when I was there, and Alabama just outclassed them. I think this is a little bit different. They're a little closer together than they were that night.
That's a great point. Sean Salisbury is with us. He's on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Sit tight. Let me grab a quick break. Come back. We'll talk about the weekend that was in the NFL and some of the things that we thought we knew. Maybe we don't. We'll continue with Sean Salisbury here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Download the Rouse's app. You know where to find them. Rouse's locations all over Louisiana. And, of course, whatever it is you're looking for. Awesome weekend. Of course, it'll be LSU Bama this weekend. Saints on Monday Night Football. If you're having your game watch party, your tailgate for either, make Rouse's a part of that. You go to the website at Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. You want your tailgate trays, your party platters. You want to feed a whole herd of people. Rouse's can help you do it. Call ahead, place your order now. Just swing on in and pick it up on your way. Or, of course, you can have your personal shopper bring it out to the car when you pull up. Delivery and pickup options are available over at Rouse's. Go to the website. You see the Our Food tab there at the website or on the app, and you'll see all of the different options that they have. It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints, the home of Eagle 98.1 Game Day all throughout the purple and gold season. It's Rouse's. This feels like home.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. and we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN. After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We continue with Sean Salisbury. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Sean, where would a Saints 24-0 shutout win over the Raiders fall on your scale of improbability in this NFL season?
Very probable to me, and I'll tell you why. Because the Raiders are awful. And by the way, let me backtrack. There's a really good chance, I should have said it last week, that about a 95% chance I'm going to be in the building for your game this weekend anyway to watch that.
Yeah.
So I look forward to that great crowd and those 6 o'clock type games and an all-day tailgate in Baton Rouge, Tiger Stadium. Now, I don't digress because I'm still getting excited about it already. It doesn't surprise me, Matty, because the average football we've seen. I would have said normally with the way, the Saints and up and down at the quarterback position, it's not the same. This was a Super Bowl type defense going in. Are they the same? But the way the Raiders have played didn't shock me a bit. It didn't. Now, the last few weeks, they've ran it, and their offense looked like it was coming around. And then they came in there. And if I'm not mistaken watching the game, I don't believe they crossed midfield till late in the game.
It was like 2 minutes. You're right. It was like 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting there watching, and Matty, you know why I know everything about the Raiders? Is because I'm a lifelong, diehard, silver and black bleeding Raider fan.
Okay.
That is my franchise. So from Stabler and that group, that they didn't care, they just won, to this group, that Josh McDaniels, sometimes the guy's just cut out to be a really good coordinator, and sometimes the command and control leadership thing that is Belichick's old style and it worked for him. It didn't work for Charlie Weiss. Command and control hasn't worked for Brian Flores for the most part. It has not worked for Josh McDaniels. It worked for Bill O'Brien when he got the coach, but when he became Mr. Power Hungry, I want GM and coach, That command and control went out the building, and heave abrasive out. Name me one. And Romeo's the one guy who didn't have that approach. And guess what? And Romeo Crennel, nice guy, is a Hall of Fame defensive coordinator, but never worked out because maybe he was the extreme the other way. So Josh McDaniels, maybe he's not long for this job because he's just not good at both, and it's showing. And how did the Raiders with Renfro and Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs, how'd they get worse? They've gotten worse, and I don't think they have buy-in right now, and it bothers me from a distance. So, yeah, it's probable because this is the NFL this year, and we're playing a lot of average football in a lot of cities.
Sean, the trade deadline came and went today. What would you say is the most significant move that was made today?
Yeah, and the last hour and a half, I've been doing an X's and O's football show, taping it. So I don't think that Cooks, even if it's in my town, Cooks didn't get moved, did he?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay. The ones that I do know, now, Matty, you refresh me if something happened 90 minutes or an hour and a half ago, is Roquan Smith's big. And I think they did a nice job of getting him to Baltimore. Baltimore wants to be physical. They're getting healthier on defense. I would have liked to see them get another big-time playmaker at wide receiver. The McCaffrey is, without question, if you're counting that one, not on this day, but during this time, because look what he did. He comes in there. The NFC we know is Eagles now, Cowboys, Vikings, the Giants, Seahawks, that group. I don't think the Rams, I don't think the Packers, and I don't think the Buccaneers are. One of them may make the playoffs, but right now they're zero threat to scare anybody in January because the optics look different. It's not the same as, they're going to fix it on any of those three teams. But the McCaffrey deal, to get him there and implement him right away, and for Kyle Shanahan, there's no excuses anymore. They got a veteran quarterback who's been to a Super Bowl. And when they get healthy, which they're getting closer, they've got Debo, they've got Kittle, they've got Ayuk, they've got McCaffrey. This is the best offense he's had since he's been in San Francisco. And again, they're 1-30 when they're 3 points, 1-30 when they are 3 points or more behind in the fourth quarter. That's Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco. So they got to be out in front, and they got another weapon. And now when you put he and Debo together in the backfield or split them out, it's going to be really tough game planning for them because between the two of them, you're going to get 35 targets, 4 touches. And McCaffrey's influence in the pass game and in the run game is going to take pressure off Debo. On the surface, and I know I'm missing some, that to me seems like a really, really good get because they needed it, and it's a team that's on the cusp. I think it's going to help them win the division.
Yeah, Roquan Smith was a big one as well. So Bradley Chubb went to Miami.
Yeah, that's another one that I thought was going to move, Matty. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No.
That's a team that's going all in. They're moving the ball when Tua's on the field. Mike McDaniel gets it. Chubb was obviously a guy who's a first-round pick and who's got pass rush skills, an edge rusher, a guy who can disrupt. I think that's a good get. You may be able to maximize that. That's maybe even an underrated one if people aren't talking about it enough.
Are you? I don't want to. Well, let me not ask a leading question. What about a team like Green Bay? The Bears, for example, they make a move to bring in Chase Claypool. They get Justin Fields a weapon. Green Bay is a team that everyone understands their window is closing, Sean. I mean, and they stand pat. So what's your reaction when you see that today?
That the anger and or frustration of Rodgers is just going to grow. I don't see in the past, you know what their thought process to me has been, Matty? I think it's pretty obvious. It's like Aaron's the Mikey and the Life cereal commercial. Remember, let's get Aaron. He'll do it. He'll fix anything, right? They're not capable of doing it now. They're not. They don't. They've got a bunch of young kids that he's babysitting. And then you get the Randall Cobbs, who's a little older and still a solid player. But every time they lose a weapon, they don't replace it offensively. They just don't. They expect it. And now we're at the stage when people have caught Vikings are better. Chicago's getting better. Detroit can score. They just can't close any game out. So we're now at the point of a guy's in his mid-30s, he's a great player, that is looking around saying, instead of getting more patient, he gets older, he's getting less patient. And when I watch him, every now and then I used to see him when things were going, he'd smirk about it. There was that swagger. I don't see it. I see him on the sideline thinking, I don't know how I'm going to fix it. I've always looked at him and said, he's like the guy, that bird, the canary that swallowed the You know,
the cat that saw the canary.
Quality canary, exactly. The cat that has the canary, right, that's smirking around, and like, I didn't want to mix my metaphors. It's got like, I know something you guys don't know, right? He's always had that. I don't see it. I've watched every single game they played, and this smirk has gone to, I may not be able to overcome. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think the optics normally 2 games we could say, okay, like after the first loss this year and last year, they fixed it. But they're not good enough to. The quarterback's getting knocked around, doesn't have time to throw. He is not as confident throwing the ball, and that's saying something for a guy who's got swagger galore. And the constant, they got to do this. This player's not doing this. Let's put guys into our plan. I don't know where their answer is, but I don't think it's on the roster. And I don't know how you get after the trade deadline and don't get him another weapon. I don't know how you get so much better that you can close this thing out. I mean, they're 3 wins. They're already chasing a wild card spot, like 2 to 3 wins behind. Rodgers is a great player. It's not a great team. The frustration will mount. I don't see them as a playoff team. I don't think they're good enough, and I don't think he's confident enough in this team to overcome it.
Sean Salisbury on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Convo brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. I want to ask you one more about the Saints looking forward. And I know we've talked about it a bunch. Is it Jameis? Is it Dalton? But then there's also this question, Sean, about, whenever this offseason comes, do they go fish in that free agent pool, whatever that looks like, or do they try their hand in the draft without a first-round pick? What do you do if you're New Orleans that is going to get this team back competing again?
I'm going to be sometimes I hate to say this, but I think it's reality. When you saw the decision last week to go to Andy Dalton, they're not going to tell you this, but, being in the business and watching how sometimes coaches handle locker rooms, and we discussed this last week about you will get an idea who they trust more in a game that they needed to win. We'll get an idea what it says about, we know where Dalton is, what his future is, as not a franchise guy, but as a guy who will stay in the league as long as he wants to, as a backup and spot starter. But the key is, what about Jameis? I think the decision they made last week, because to my knowledge, he was pronounced fit and healthy, and he practiced all week, and they made the decision to go with Dalton. Now, it may change if Andy, doesn't play well and turns the ball over for 3 straight games. But I think as far as building for the future, I think they told you what you need to know last week, or they would have played him. I unless he's not healthy, and you know better than I do, you're right there, but it appeared that he was healthy, and they made the decision to go with Andy Dalton. I think what it is, you're going to play Dalton, and then if he stubs his toe, you play Winston and maybe go back and forth. I don't believe, from my optics and from what they see, that they think that their future franchise-starting, program-changing quarterback is on the roster, or they would have gone with that guy last week. They just would have. In my opinion, Dalton played well, the defense played well, Kamara played well. I think what you're going to see, depending on who's available this offseason, I'm not talking about just a guy. I'm talking about if all of a sudden Rodgers got traded, right? He's so disgruntled, and they didn't want to pay $50 million. They said, who could he go to with some weapons and finish this up? Maybe. Guys, somebody that's that kind of player. I'm not talking Carson Wentz, none of those guys. I'm talking about that guy, whoever it is that may be available. If not, you have got to package something or find the guy that is. I don't believe that the guy that's quarterbacking or on the roster now will be the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints by 2024. They may keep one of the guys around like Dalton to hold it over. But I don't, unless it's a veteran they bring in, I don't think the starting quarterback is on the roster right now moving forward, if not this year, next year. They got to look for that guy, not just a guy. And I think they believe they got some good players, but they don't have a program changer in the building.
Yeah, they're in a tough spot. Looking forward, man. See what they can make of this year.
Yep.
He's on Twitter at Sean Salisbury. I'm sorry, he's on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. He is Sean Salisbury. You can catch him weekday morning, Sports Talk 790 in Houston. He's all over the place. Hey, where you mentioned the show that you're recording. Where can people catch your other content?
Well, this new one is called Last Chance Q.
I love it.
We will start airing clips. We come out live next week. We put a bunch of clips together. We got NFL tape, college tape. We're going to evaluate high school kids. We're going to talk opinion, and we're going to show you tape and get on the whiteboard. I personally think it's going to be, along with Coach JB, Coach Brown, who did Last Chance U. I think it's going to be as good a football teaching, coaching, teaching, and opinion football show on the internet. I'm excited about it, Maddie. And you can always find me, obviously, at Sports Talk 790 and on various podcasts, like on Relevant, or should I say on Believe Network with Adam Sager, doing a bunch of stuff. But this new one is going to be a blast because we're going to teach and get right to the bear. We're not going to talk above the amateur. We're not going to talk below the expert. It'll be one of the better teaching things you'll see on the internet with opinion and passion. I think they're going to like it.
Love it, man. Absolutely love it. We'll be looking for it whenever it launches. Thank you, Sean. We appreciate you, man.
Next week. I appreciate you. And when I get to town, I'll give you a text, brother. Thank you.
I'd love it, man. Be great to see you this weekend.
Okay, bud. Thanks.
That is Sean Salisbury. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered to get links for all of his content. Brought to you by Mold Zero USA, mold-0usa.com. I got a text from someone earlier today on the show text line. Say, hey, man, Mold Zero, like the numeral, and mold0.com don't work. It's a long website. I get it. And it's fine. If you can't remember it, you can always text me. Tweet me. I'd love to share it with you. But it's mold-0, Z-E-R-O, USA.com. Mold-0 USA.com. Remember the USA at the end. Mold-0 USA.com. It's where you go to get all the info about Mold Zero. If you have mold in your home, your office building, whatever it may be, place of business, Mold Zero, they offer a patented, non-toxic dry fog treatment. So they come into the home or the office, they spray this fog, they let it dwell for about 45 minutes. Your mold can spore. You want to make sure you kill all of it. And then as soon as the fog dissipates, you have a mold-free, clean-smelling home or office. Minimal, if any, demolition required. Sometimes no demolition. You're not cutting sheetrock at all. You're spraying this. It'll kill the mold. You'll be done with it. Mold-0usa.com. They service the entire greater Baton Rouge and greater New Orleans areas. So go to mold-0usa.com to learn more and to get that free estimate. Mold-0usa.com. All right, it's after further review. Otter locks in about 15 minutes. Got Game 3 of the World Series tonight. Got a couple of Maction games tonight. Got NHL. You got NBA. Man, a ton going on. We'll see what the Otter likes on the betting landscape tonight. So we'll get to that in about 15 minutes. When we come back, let's recap the trade deadline, all the big news. We kind of went over that a little bit with Sean right there. A quick look at World Series Game 3. And tip of the cap to DJ LeMahieu. Actually, you know what I want to do? I want to reset this convo. If you missed it a bit ago when Muse was doing Tigers and the Pros, we found out sometimes timing works out really well. Like literally as Muse was starting Tigers and the Pros, we saw DJ LeMahieu won his 4th career Gold Glove. First ever AL utility player, utility Gold Glove. Is DJ LeMahieu a Hall of Famer? It's a conversation that we legitimately have to start having now about DJ LeMahieu. Ton to do still as we cruise on through this 5 o'clock hour. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, and Bluebonnet. Dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. What a night to get by Pluckers. Oh, my goodness. I mean, you've got Game 3 of the World Series. You've got 2 Maction games. You've got a full slate of NBA and NHL games tonight. Get them by Pluckers. And if you get to the Nicholson location, starting at 8:30, Hunt Palmer's hosting sports trivia. So get by Pluckers. Tuesdays, kids eat free. So if you want to go bring the family out and have a night out with the whole family, great opportunity to do it. Parents, adults, buy the entrees. Kids eat free on Tuesdays at both Pluckers location, Nicholson and Bluebonnet. Remember, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery, Uber Eats or DoorDash. Get your wings to go or get your wings delivered to you wherever you are, home, office, whatever it may be. A couple weeks ago for Whiskey and Wine, we had Pluckers delivered to us at Don Juan while we were doing the show. We punched up DoorDash, and boom, there they were. So either Pluckers location, Nicholson, or Bluebonnet. Remember, Nicholson only for sports trivia tonight. 8:30, 5 rounds live action trivia. Eat wings, drink beer, watch sports on TV. Pluckers, you like our wings. Give it the bird.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Saban office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Saban have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana, call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Game 3 of the World Series is tonight from Philadelphia. It was supposed to be last night. It was rain delayed. Did cause a change in the starting pitching matchup. Syndergaard gets scratched. So the Phillies will throw a lefty tonight against the Astros. I'm looking. So we were talking about this. I'm not going to spend a ton of time here, but I kind of want to plant this maybe in your mind. So DJ LeMahieu, it was announced today, won his 4th Gold Glove. 3 Gold Gloves as a second baseman, and today became the first ever AL utility Gold Glove winners. First year they've ever had a utility Gold Glove, and he becomes the first ever recipient of it. Kind of played all over the field for the Yankees this year. Played some first, played some third, played some second, so he played kind of all over the infield. It's interesting because DJ, who's 34 years old now, he's only a 3-time All-Star. So it's odd, but sometimes that becomes sort of a popularity deal, right? And when you play in a market like Colorado, even when he had some great seasons, maybe a little forgotten. Remember, he did debut with the Cubs and then played in Colorado from 2012 to 2018. He's been with the Yankees since 2019, so much higher profile, obviously. And he did win the Silver Slugger Award in 2019 and 2020. And he won the batting title in 2020 also. So do we figure out if he's the only...
He is the second player ever to win the batting title in both leagues, but the first born in the modern era of Major League Baseball.
Okay, so who is the other?
The other one, I had it right here. Hold on. Let me just find it again. I'm sorry, it didn't include it in there.
No, it's okay. So anyway, so basically in the modern era is basically like 1900.
Ed Delahanty.
Okay. What year was that? Had to be
1899 and 1902.
Okay, so I think the modern era starts at like 1910 or something like that. Anyway, so in 100 years, DJ became the first player in 100 years to win a batting title in both leagues. He's a 2-time Silver Slugger. He's now a 4-time Gold Glover. He's a 3-time Wilson Defensive Player of the Year award winner, 2-time All Major League First Team. There's a legit case to be made now for DJ LeMahieu as a Baseball Hall of Famer, that his plaque will be in Cooperstown one day. I don't know if necessarily that I would say he's a lock. I wouldn't say that he's a lock, but my goodness, baseball is sort of obviously is an analytical game, right? And the numbers matter. And when you look at the voters, they're going to look at someone like LeMahieu, and they'll look at longevity, which matters. I'll tell you, he's not going to get 3,000 hits, right? There used to be benchmarks where, like, if you hit these benchmarks, boom, you were automatically a Hall of Famer. 3,000 hits, 500 homers, 300 wins as a pitcher, whatever it is. DJ right now is at 1,576 hits and only 107 homers. So he's not going to get to 3,000 hits, and he's not going to hit any significant amount of homers. But his career batting average is 297. And, you know, I've read interviews like with Mickey Mantle, and, you know, Mickey played late in his life when he was injured, and his career batting average dipped below 300, and he said it was always something he regretted, was that, you know, he didn't finish with a career batting average. Can you look that up, please, what Mickey Mantle's career batting average was? I think his career finished at 297 for a career batting average, which is where LeMahieu is right now. So DJ LeMahieu has a legitimate possibility, depending on how much longer he plays, of finishing with a career batting average over 300, which that would be Hall of Fame worthy. You have it?
298.
298. Okay, so Mickey Mantle finished with a career batting average 298. I mean, it was always something he lamented, was that late in his career, you know, some injury-plagued seasons, his batting average dipped below 300. So DJ's got a shot at that, and that may be the biggest check mark in his column. And we may be talking about the first ever Major League Baseball, first ever LSU baseball player to end up in Cooperstown. You know, Muse and I were having the conversation that Bregman could certainly be in that conversation, and he has had that sort of start to his career, or had that start to his career. I think the past couple of years you've seen the numbers dip a bit, but what Bregman has going for him unmistakably is the fact that he's on a great team, and he's been in the World Series now 4 times in 6 years. And that type of team success is going to, you will look at the core components of that type of team success, and that will be favorable to him. And because of the postseason success he's had as well, I mean, for a guy who's in his middle 20s, or what's Bregman, 27?
He's 28.
He's 28 now. For a guy that's 28, and to already be the all-time leader in home runs and RBI among doubles among third basemen, it's crazy. You know, and he will have presumably another decade to build upon those numbers. And we could, if he played on a better team, we could start having the conversation about Aaron Nola as well, but he's not going to have the win-loss record. Everything else may actually be there, though. What do you think? Have you given any thought, Muse, to DJ?
Yeah, no. I mean, I think the numbers are certainly there right now. I mean, DJ's not done by any stretch of the imagination. He could add more All-Stars. He could add more. I think one thing that would really help him that I don't know if he's able to get to would be an MVP. I think an MVP would really, really help DJ, but I just, the power numbers aren't really ever going to be there for him to really, I don't think, compete for that accolade.
16 when he won his first batting title might have been the best opportunity.
But I don't know. I look at that and I think, man, the guy's got everything from an individual standpoint you could want, except that. That's kind of the one thing. I mean, and obviously, he's in a position to have great team success. I mean, the Yankees are going to be there just about every year.
If he had started his career in New York, this might even be a no-brainer. But because his best years were in a place where nobody paid attention, and now in his later career, he's in New York. I mean, he's a utility player this year. He wasn't an everyday player for the Yankees and probably won't be an everyday player for the rest of his career, as long as he's there anyway. But he plays on a team where you're going to get a lot of notoriety. So it's an interesting convo with DJ because he's borderline.
The 300 career batting average would be something too.
That would be the single biggest hook if he could finish with a career batting average of 300. For a guy who would have played more than a decade and would have finished with a career batting average of over 300, I think that would be the biggest hook if he could get there.
Now I'm interested to see how many times he's finished over 300 in his career, just in seasons.
All right, well, you do that. Let me remind people about South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. That's southpointvw.com. I love my Volkswagen. I love my Atlas. Like, I've loved all my Volkswagens. They're so fun to drive. And for me, I'll tell you all the time, it's just the peace of mind when I strap Drew into his car seat, knowing that we're driving one of the safest vehicles on the road. Every day, Erica drives an Atlas as well. When she's driving to work or wherever she's going, or she's got Drew in the car with her, I have that peace of mind. Look, they're stylish, they're affordable, they have all the amazing luxury features, the great German engineering, but the safety features for me are always what stand out, and the price ain't bad either. You could always go buy one of those luxury brands, or as Mr. Bill would tell you over at South Point, or drive a Volkswagen, put an extra $30,000 in your pocket. South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, what you got, Muse?
5 times in 12 seasons, and the 6th time was 297. So just about half of his seasons, he's hit over 300.
Yeah.
In the major. I mean, that's pretty darn good.
Is it Hall of Fame worthy?
That's
where you have to have the rarefied air. I'm kind of the belief that if you're a Hall of Famer, that you shouldn't even have to have the conversation.
That's fair.
But not everybody subscribes to that opinion. But
I'd love to see him get it.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I'd selfishly.
It is a little amazing that LSU's never had one.
Yeah.
Josh Smith, when he made his big league debut, became the 89th LSU Tiger to play in Major League Baseball. They never had a Hall of Famer. So LeMahieu may very well be the first. And like we mentioned, it's worth starting to follow Bregman and Nola as well along their careers, because they are certainly on a trajectory that could lead them there. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out our final break of the show. We'll come back. We'll do Otter Locks. Jimmy will be here. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
As a community bank, B1 Bank invests in relationships with the people and businesses we proudly represent. Our B1 bankers are here to help simplify the complicated, understand your needs, and make managing your finances easier. At B1 Bank, we offer an array of solutions to help simplify your transaction needs. B1 Bank, one highly personal banking experience. Visit us online at b1bank.com for more information.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR. Get to Otter Locks just a second, as always. Love telling you about Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. 288-8138, 288-8138 for Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank, vinyl siding. Nobody does it better. They always say experience, quality, and service. They've got the experience. It's the highest quality products, and, of course, the great customer service that you get with Relief Windows. They will never take $1 from you until the work's done and you're thrilled. That's Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Reliefwindows.com. All right, one thing left to do. Find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and of an incomprehensible, the Outfather himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Doing fantastic. How about you, Matt?
Well, Otter, remind me who it was on the Noe Bluff Football Sunday that had the Browns.
Andy Isco.
So Andy had the Browns. So that means you did, in fact, finish with a winning record this past weekend. Yep. And I'll tell you, you had a disagreement. It was the Titans-Texans. You had Texans. I can't remember who had the Titans. So that did they kind of cancel each other out, right? You had a win and a loss in that one as well. And if you're like me,
I just count. Yeah, I count them all 7 and 6.
Yeah, no, I know you counted both, but I went chronologically. I just played them as we go. So I played the Titans. So then when you gave the Texans, I just didn't play it. So I actually ended up 8 and 5. So
very good.
A good weekend for your boy. So
good. It's pretty good when you can win an NFL game and throw for 50 yards. So, hey, here we go. We're running this big guy in the backfield. So it's stop it. I mean, it's like college football when the way the Houston rush defense is right now. So Maxion.
I was going to say, speaking of college football, we got Maxion tonight.
7 minutes till kick.
Okay.
Ball State and Kent State. I'm looking at 6.5 or 7. What are you looking at
7.
right now?
7 at DraftKings, yeah.
Or 6.5. I like Kent State, but what are you looking at the total?
Total 62.
Okay. Under is the big play on the first game, but I like Kent State. I got 6.5, 7. I'd lay that as well.
Wait, so you're gonna play the under and Kent State laying the number?
Correct. Kent
Okay.
State minus 6.5 or 7. Under 61.5 or 62.
All right. Got it. Okay.
All right. Late action coming in on Ohio. Also, a little over 2/3 of the tickets on Ohio at Bet Rivers. It was 3 earlier today, 2.5 for most of the afternoon, down to 2 now. taking Buffalo. We're fading that Heat right now. Buffalo -2.
All right.
And Lance McCullers, since he's come off of the layoff, he has thrown a much higher percentage of off-speed pitches. The Philadelphia Phillies are one of the better teams hitting off-speed. So you talk about Ranger Suarez. He puts a lot of guys on base with baseline balls. I think a lot of runs scored at Citizens Bank Park tonight, over 7.5.
Okay, Otter likes over the total. I'm good with an overplay. It's funny. Will Harris was with us in hour number 2, and he basically said, I asked him, he basically said, look, Citizens Bank plays like a bandbox. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of balls leave the yard. So may very well see that tonight.
Man, Will greeted Ethan and I during BP one time for an Astros game. So, man, good to hear from him. What a great guy.
He's the best. All right, so Otter's got Kent State laying the 7. Under 62 in the Kent State game, and then Buffalo laying. I'm looking at 2.5. Otter says he's got it at 2, but Buffalo laying the number, and then over 7.5 in the World Series game 3. Where are you, Otter?
I'm at Dozy Place. Let's keep it going, man.
Let's go, man. What a great time of year. I'm just ready for Thursday, so I can lay my big money on College. All right, Otter. Have a great show. Thank you.
See you, man.
All right, man. Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, online at 1045ESPN.com. Muse, Paulie, thanks so much. Y'all have a great night. Otter is next. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, we remind you about the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020. Call 924-2020. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020. Or you could always log on to williamsoneye.com. That's williamsoneye.com. Tell you all the time, go for that free consultation. If you have been on the fence about LASIK, be on the fence no more. Just go for the consultation. It's something that I wish I had done years before. And if you talk to anybody who's ever had LASIK, they'll probably tell you it's the best money I ever spent. Wish I had done it years before. And I'm in that number. I mean, I was shoving contact lens in my eye since I was in the 8th grade. And for years I was told, you're not a great candidate for LASIK, or I was scared of the laser, a lot of different things. But sitting down, having that consultation with Dr. Blake Williamson, explain the success rate, explain why I was a perfect candidate for LASIK, and it's the best decision I could have made. 924-2020 or williamsoneye.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit.
We get it done with passion for our fans and love for our community. We are the Tigers.
Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.